because I guess when it goes a little longer,
time.
you know, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and so like, dude, just how like we've talked for an hour and a half. You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
we've just been chilling.
Shit,
All right,
You know,
so let's not do what we did with Nick and
Yeah.
wait till we're like 2 hours in to go. Oh, by the way, this is Nick. So this is Zach Buckley, the one and only Choncho.
Hey,
Yes,
that's
the one
me,
and
Jack.
only.
That is me.
Yes.
Yeah, there is really only one Choncho. Let's be honest here. Well, not really, because the name comes from Nacho Libre.
Nacho.
Oh,
Libre.
Yeah,
the
Nacho
movie.
Libre. Yeah. It's funny as shit. Yeah, it's a little fat kid with a machete. My buddy regrets giving me that name because he's like, should have named you after that little fat kid. I'm like, it's okay, buddy.
Yeah, is that was the kid in it, right?
Yeah, the one orphan kid. He was
Yeah.
like, Jack Black would be like, Choncho, what are you doing?
Yes, that's right,
You know?
dude. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Jack Black's an
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, he
I
like-
haven't seen that in forever.
Oh,
I have
dude,
to go
it's
back and
classic.
watch that.
Yeah.
Who's excited for Kung Fu Panda 4?
Oh, dude, come on. Anything Kung Fu Fit. And I haven't seen probably like since the second or first one. But, you know, yeah, it's still, you know, it's a cult classic. Now.
Oh, the Wushu finger hold. You know this hold.
It's still a giant kid at heart. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
dude, the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I aspire to age like Jack Black.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mentally, don't.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Nah, dude, you still see him walking around with like the wolf shirts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Dude, those things are lit.
Dude.
Moon Howard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the wolf
moon
shirts might
howlers.
need to come back.
Oh, come on.
I might be
dude. You know
rocking
what
a
I'm
wolf shirt on
saying?
the pod.
I'm telling you, bro. Have like the shirt
There's
with the
your
big
merch.
old moon and everything.
The moon will be the logo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Have one make a
No, I'm
JDM,
digging
put
this
like
idea.
the moon on it.
Generic Moon Howler shirt
So
or
now-
hoodie with the moon being the Leave It Running logo.
You're
That'd be
on
perfect.
you're on
I'm
board for the merch now.
I'd wear the shit out of that.
Get like the cool ones with like the dragons and stuff.
Oh,
you know
hell
what I mean? Yes, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, it'd be sick. So Zach Buckley, obviously longtime friends here. So just tell us a little about yourself. I mean, you got a lot going on. I mean, is a racing car extraordinaire.
I wouldn't take it that far, but yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not really doing much. Really, just like, hey, like my Instagram profile says, out here living life and racing cars. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah.
That's pretty much it. You know, just
Yeah.
you know, as you guys know, work and play a little bit harder. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you don't have to like say where you work, but like what you do for a living.
Technician. You know what I mean? Work on
Automotive.
cars.
Yeah,
Work on
automotive.
cars all day.
Yeah.
You know
I think
what
the
mean?
last episode we just said, don't be a mechanic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know how it is. I mean, that's
It's hard to
exactly
get out
why
of it. It
you
took me
guys
9
aren't.
years to get out of it. You
Oh,
got
yeah.
out a little earlier. but
Yeah.
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 We were all mechanics at one point.
Oh yeah, no, trust me, I'm definitely working on something now in general, like to get me out of it. It's just it's gonna take a little time. That's all. So
Yeah.
not too worried about it. Not too worried
Yeah.
about it. But you know, hopefully, you know, we'll get out of it eventually. you
Yeah.
know. So because as you guys know, it kills you. Can't really make money like you can back in the day. You know, like the old heads and oh man, back in my day we could make $100,000 a year. Well, $100,000 a year too. Also back in
That
the
ain't
80s
nothing
was,
now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, you know, just working on cars and stuff like that. You know, it's
Yeah.
greatest thing in the world, like we were told.
I still like working on cars. Like I still find it to be enjoyable.
It's enjoyable when it's your own thing and
Yeah.
you're not under a time crunch. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? To make money.
Yeah,
you know,
rebuilding the
so-
Buick, enjoyed that process.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Of course, it's also a lot simpler than
Yeah.
modern cars.
Yeah, you know how it is.
You want to trace an intermittent CAN signal loss?
For you, of course, buddy. But you know I'm going to ask your help because you're more knowledgeable than I am half the time. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
That the maintenance on cars is akin to like the death of
Yeah.
the automotive field.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
sure. And that's the thing, like, you know, that's why all the old heads made all the money back in the days, because there were services.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, spark plugs at 30K. I mean, timing points at 30K.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there was like tons of flushes. I mean, like now even for
everything's lifetime.
Yeah, everything.
It's
even
not
like,
by, it's not
100K.
by the way.
Oil changes are at
not.
10K.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's just
5
crazy.
to 10K.
Look, I can,
you know,
this is how you know I'm not being the sleazy technician lying to the customers about like, oh, you need to change your fluid every 5,000 miles. I don't work in this field anymore. I have no stakes in this. You go 10K, you're blowing up your engine eventually.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
and that's
And your transmission, that's not lifetime either.
Oh yeah, no, and that's funny you say that too, because that's working for Nissan. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, just- we'll leave the dealership
Yeah,
out.
I
but
don't care.
Nissan.
Yeah, I work for a manufacturer, Nissan. And it's funny, these owners
Allegedly.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got to put that in there now. Some of these owners, they think they can go 10K on their bigger SUVs that they drive, and we be getting them in, and it's like you see the records between it. It's
Fluff
like
said the same thing. He hates the Armadas.
the Armada. It's the Pathfinders that
the
are actually the
Pathfinders.
Pathfinder owners
Those
that
two,
are coming
yeah.
in. Yeah, because they no bullshit. They're coming in 10K oil change services, and their motors are making noises, and they're wondering why they have to buy a new motor, and it's like, well, you can't go 10K with
And just for anyone who's like more technically minded who might stumble across this, you know, the what you get told now is you can go 10K because the oil's better, and like, you know, you can send your oil out to a lab and have it checked, and it hasn't broken down. And that's true. The oil itself hasn't broken down. It still gets contaminated.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It still gets dirty.
Yeah. It does still get.
Sorry,
It's okay.
working on a sponsorship.
I
Gotta
like
pay
it.
the bills.
Exactly.
But it's anyway.
I like
Victory,
it.
we love
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, we're doing product placement on everything,
Yeah,
man. I
exactly.
do love
Wait.
a refreshing Wawa lemon iced tea.
Celsius.
Oh, Celsius.
Celsius, we'll bring it in. Bring it in. Look at that. All of us are enjoying product. Yummy.
But yeah, no, you can't do.
Especially with
Can't do
does
10K.
Nissan do big? Are they big in like direct inject?
Yeah.
Yeah,
some
so
of the
that
motors-
stuff is
yeah, most
Great
of them.
for like cylinder washdown.
Oh yeah.
So you need like all the protection you can get from the oil.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And it's just how you just need protection, like you said. The oil protects.
like
it, you know?
I've done work with cars like through that period where we transition from like port injection to direct
Yeah.
injection. You can just tell the oil is more watery. It's blacker when it comes out. It's not
Yeah,
good.
It's not good.
So
man.
yeah, the oil might stand up to it, but it's still dirty. It's still got particulates in it. It's going to score up bearing surfaces and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I never got either.
5
You-
to 7K.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
I mean, hey, I'm still old school. 3,000. I mean, the race cars, they get
Well,
it done
that's a
every
little-
track day.
That's a little different. You're out
Yeah.
here like pushing everything to red line for like
But you know, even still on the EF, 2,000,
2,000.
Yeah.
2,500. I don't care.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know
have-
what I mean. If
Right.
I could do it, I'll do it.
Oil's
You
cheap
know what I
enough.
mean? Exactly. More or less, it is cheap enough. You know?
anymore. It's getting expensive.
Well, when the thing only takes 3.8 quarts, you know what I mean?
My
3.5.
Buick only takes 4.
Okay, so there you
That's
go.
surprising.
That's
That's a-
surprising.
That's a big engine.
That's not
Yeah.
that bad though. You know what
No.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, I'm still old school. 3,000.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm with you. I'm
You
with
know.
you, dude. And I remember when I was still working on cars, they were just then they were pushing like 7,000. They were
Yeah.
like 7,500.
Yeah.
That's when you were recommending if the customer buys this oil, then it's 75. And I remember being like, "What?
Yeah. It's,
Like it's oil?"
yeah. Exactly.
And they're like, no, it holds up, and it's,
It's
like,
full synthetic.
no, yeah, it's full synthetic. It's like, no. Like I think that like the breakdown is going to still be the same, and everyone was like, no, that's how it is. And then so I should also preface that like at that time I was a lube tech.
Oh yeah.
And so, not that you have to be some sort of genius to be a lube tech, but
Yeah,
I'd say I was the best lube tech you could be. And I knew oil when I saw oil.
I work
with oil
and so
every day.
and I saw a lot of oil, and I would see from these like you were saying, the wateriness and all that stuff. Like just as being a mechanic, like even at my lowest point of being like a looped guy, I was like, yo, like there's a difference here. Like I'm not seeing anything good with this this oil, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like that just kind of solidified me being like no. And then like when I hear after I get out of the field, they're
10K.
pushing out to 10K, dude.
Yeah,
And it's
10K
like-
with 0W16. That stuff's water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also, let's be honest, though, people that say 10K are like Mercedes, BMW, stuff like that.
They're
But
trying to
half of
sell the cars.
Yeah, that too. And like,
I mean, if you're buying a Mercedes, you should have money for oil changes.
and that's the thing.
Should.
But they also hold 10 quarts, 8 quarts, 9 quarts.
Yeah.
That's an
whatever
expensive
it
oil
is.
change.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's why the oil changes cost
And it's
200
like
some odd dollars.
5W40 full synthetic Euro
Exactly.
blend.
Yeah, the Euro blend. crap,
Yeah,
you
that
know
Euro
what I mean?
blend shit, dude.
But even then,
You know what
like,
my BMW gets?
what's that?
Well, used to get
What's that?
my BMW?
Well, what?
Rotella.
Yeah, well,
Your
see, that's
Rotella
the
tea,
good
baby.
stuff. I'm all about those. See, that's like the Honda Challenge guys that race the golden era Hondas. They all swear by the Rotella.
Well, that's because it's for
W30, baby.
diesels, which don't have the
Well,
same catalytic
yeah.
converter that
The
cars
zinc
do, so they have
content.
zinc.
Yeah,
Zinc will
exactly.
poison a catalytic converter, but if you don't have one, not that I've ever taken one out of my car.
Yeah, we won't allegedly.
Allegedly, if you pull one out, it's okay.
Let's be honest here. Yeah, no, it's the Rotella. It's the zinc content. That's what everybody
Yeah.
because that's what you need for your bearings.
That's what I
and
run in
stuff
my
like
Buick,
that.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that doesn't have a cat from the factory.
Yeah,
Very important.
yep, exactly. And that's kind of like why I've been kind of holding off on it, because I just use the Honda stuff, especially in
Yeah.
Sir Miss. Just use the Honda stuff. It's 1030, call it a day. The motor runs fine.
Now,
That's it.
just because you mentioned it, Sierra Mist, why don't you tell us what that is?
Oh, yeah. That's the 93 Civic SI, actual SI, you know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. I went full Corvette mode on it one time. I did the research on it. It's like that year was the only year for Aztec Green in 93.
This is one of 3,200.
It's one of like 2,563 or something like that. Yeah, that's right. I did that. I don't care. It's cool to me. You know what I mean?
No, dude, it is. It's so cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
there's
what
nothing
it
wrong
is.
with that, as long
No.
as you're not trying to use that to justify charging 10 grand for it.
Well, I don't even have to justify it. The internet already does that for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
because original SI with a B16
I was
swap.
going to say, it's not original anymore. You've
well,
done some
not
work to it.
anymore, but I mean, an actual SI in that year with a B swap will definitely fetch anywhere from 6 to 10 grand, depending on the quality of it. Obviously,
Yeah.
my motor, I probably spent about 6 grand on that. So if I don't get
Well,
10, then I'll
yeah,
be
if
upset
I
if I were to
remember-
sell it.
If I remember, you pulled that motor out of a factory B16 Del Sol that you had bought.
Yes, which I kind of kicked myself in the ass for not holding on to with the B16.
Yeah, why didn't you track that?
Well, I'm going to be honest here. That Del Sol, as great as it is, you can take it around a corner and literally feel the front and rear flex
'Cause
because of that target top. Even when you took the top off, it was.
Well, I feel like that makes it worse.
Extremely. I remember one time going around a pretty hard turn. You could feel the back end was pretty planted, but it felt like the front end was twisting so I remember it was a right hand turn. It felt like the right front wheel was lifting up and the left front was planted along with the rear, but it was like twisted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to take you for a drive in the Buick. You just go down
Oh.
the highway, you can feel the pedals kind of moving a bit
Oh,
under
I
your
know. I've
feet.
been in the Buick plenty of times. the same way. But yeah, no, that Del Sol was pretty bad. So that and
I mean, I guess you could have caged it, but
you can only go so far because of the small interior. You cage it, but then you got to full cage it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like through the dash.
Yeah,
and
so that's the
everything.
beauty of doing like a full cage and like an EG like yours, because
You
like
got
if you do
room.
a full cage, like boy, there's plenty to have contact points. And, like,
Exactly.
you put a full cage in that thing, you've really changed the rigidity of the whole body. That's crazy.
And the car, I mean, not for nothing. Actually, the car, I don't even have any scaffolding on it yet, and
no strut braces or anything?
no, I had one with me, the first track event with it, but I just didn't have the bolts to put it on. So I was like, well, let's just send it anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but actually, it felt surprisingly good.
Yeah,
Really
Yeah.
good.
Don't be silly. You're still gonna send it.
Oh, 100%. That's how, dude, I fully sent it too. Because let's see, first day, seat driver's seat's now semi-broken. Power steering pump screaming its head off. The rear trailing arm bushings are broken. And what else? There's something else. There was something else that was wrong with it too. But yeah. Other than that,
But damn, it looked good on the dyno.
Oh,
that
man,
looks
it
sick,
great,
dude.
dude. I love that thing. Oh, it brings nothing but a smile to my face, dude.
Now, those old Hondas are something special.
Yeah.
I miss my Integra every day.
Exactly. It's just like you said. I took the motor out of the Del Sol, and I literally, because I worked at Honda at the time, I literally had it on an engine stand in front of my toolbox at Honda.
Mm-hmm.
So every day after work, get done work, and that's where I'd be at for the next few hours.
Just
or so.
popping on like some OEM parts.
Whatever, yeah. I mean, it's actually it is on my Instagram on the history or the highlight stories. It's Sir Mist. Yeah, if you go up or whatever, you'll see it. But yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It's like start to finish the whole entire project.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally ripped it out of the Del. Well, so the Del Sol was funny. Like, I did rip the shit out of that Del Sol before I ripped the motor out of it. But what do you call it? It just wasn't it. Like I said, like you could feel the body twisting. The floor had a hole in it. Other than that, though, it was a solid car. So
What'd you end up doing with the shell?
So I wanted to keep it at the time, but the lot manager, quote unquote lot manager at Honda, they were getting ready to repave the lot, and they were like, "All cars got to get out," and everybody kind of used the back lot as like a storage place, you know.
Oh yeah,
This is a Honda
we know how it
dealership.
is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of random crap back there, so
Yeah.
everybody had to get their shit out. Well, you know, it didn't really have to go down like that, but he was being a little bit of a stickler for it, so eventually I had to get rid of the damn thing. And so we called a guy and just
Dude, is that
scrapped it.
That what's in it now?
The B16, yeah, except the valve cover. That's just the E-Way valve cover. I cut that all up on the side, as you see, just to get the cam, because I thought the tuner was going to need to see the cam gears or whatever. He
Does
didn't
it have
need to see-
adjustable cam gears?
Yeah. So I built the motor, stock bottom end, just all refreshed. Everything. Bearings, seals.
I mean, if you're not like pushing booster, major power, like that's all you need.
No, it's just a 1.6 liter. You know what I mean? It's 1.6. It's just a high revving motor. I will revisit the bottom end eventually. You know, maybe some higher compression pistons, a girdle for the bottom end so it can handle the 9Ks, you know, without any fear or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But stock bottom end, all the seals got replaced, all the bearings, piston rings, you know, the whole nine, did everything. Painted the block, you know. The real fun is the top end work. So I did the stock head, poured it, ported the head, you know what I mean? Did the little street board on it, nothing crazy. Flat face valves. And stage 2 N.A. cams. Yeah, I hate the stage shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, N.A. cams, the two from BC, Run BC, Brian Crowler, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flat face valves, the cams, the cam gears, and that's pretty much it, the port. So,
Nice.
you know, as you saw, the dyno running made 170 to the wheels. So nothing crazy.
That's
but
more than
that's-
factory to the crank.
Dude,
Like,
That's pretty
nice.
good.
yeah, because I mean, the
pretty good.
original D16 made like 120 to the
Six.
crank.
I
Yeah,
was
so
gonna say
100 to the
106.
wheels. You know what I mean? Yeah,
D6,
exactly.
126 horsepower to the
So-
crank and like 100 and it was more than the B16 in torque.
Yeah,
Or
but I
no,
mean,
it was
like,
like 108
a B16 with some years on it, it goes
Yeah.
106.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, I had it in the Del Sol, so it's great to be able to rip it in the Del Sol, now
Yeah.
have it in my EG, and,
Yeah.
like,
Feel the difference.
feel the actual, like, because I sit there and I rip it down, I'm like, oh, man, it definitely still feels like the Del
It's
Sol,
alive.
but it gets a little pep in her step now, you
Yeah.
know? The only thing is, driving it on the highway, you definitely do run out of gearing real fast. So
yeah.
you're in
Oh, yeah.
fifth.
You have
and
an
you're
SI trans, that fifth gear is short.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? It's the Y21 or whatever it is. So it's nothing
Yeah.
crazy, but it is a short ratio trans. Like on the track, phenomenal. I wasn't even in fifth gear. I was in
Yeah,
third
where are you
and
at at
fourth.
60?
Yeah.
Huh?
What RPM are you at 60?
60 and like fourth gear, you're sitting at like 3, but it's like
Well, in fifth gear. Like
fifth
you're cruising on the
gear,
highway.
you're at like 70 or 80, you're at 4,000.
Yeah.
So with the
Yeah.
HKS exhaust, like it's not bad, but it's yeah, you got that nice deep tone to it and everything.
Yeah.
And if you're next to somebody, they're definitely trying to get away from you. So, you know.
Just the other day, I was driving down the turnpike I was doing like 80, but the right lane was probably doing like 75.
Yeah.
And there was this.
Sorry, just him doing.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, it was just like it was an EG coupe,
Yeah.
big wing, big far count at the back. He's
Love
just
it.
cruising.
Love it. Check.
He's doing like 70, 75, just bang.
And see, on something like that, you're like, oh, this fucking guy. But like, you see my EG, you probably say the same thing.
This
But it's
fucking guy.
like, yeah, you say the same thing. But at least if I downshift, that thing
Will
like,
leave.
yes, it'll actually get up and go. You know,
Yeah.
most modern cars will still be able to beat it, but you
Yeah.
know, because
Yeah.
most modern cars are 200 horsepower and up. But
Yeah, dude, that's been like a crazy evolution of cars where like, and I think that like, I don't know if it's a good thing, but like,
It's not.
dude, it's not. It's not.
it's not a good.
It's
thing.
not, dude.
It's not.
It's definitely not. I mean, I think it's cool, and like, because I say that because I think it's cool because like, I mean, like, shit's just getting faster, right? Like, you can buy a Tesla today, and like now that's like the fastest thing at the drag strip.
Yeah.
You know, like back in the day, we would take our cars, and they were all like, you know, if your friend had a car that could run sub 15 seconds, you were like, bro, that guy is my best friend.
Oh yeah. And if you had a car that could run sub 12s, you were making sacrifices.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
For real.
Oh yeah,
For real.
Yeah,
or it
like-
was a brand new V8 car or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing at the time that we're doing that
Yeah.
stuff.
Now
Yeah.
they've got 10-second cars that you can drive to go get your groceries.
Yeah, dude.
Like 700
SUVs.
horsepower Hellcat. Yeah,
the,
SUVs.
the Hellcat Charger.
Bro,
for as
Hellcats
much
are
shit,
wild.
For as much
They
shit
are
as they
wild.
get, though, like that was the first thing that said to me, like, oh, we're in a new era.
Yeah.
Four-door sedan, get groceries,
Yeah.
get your kids, take them to school, be the coolest parent, pulling up to the school.
Yeah.
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 And then hit the highway after drop the kids off and do 200.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, they're insane. I drove a TRX at work, and it's like,
Bro,
dude, you're
TRX
in this
is-
ginormous mammoth of a vehicle, and it's like people see you, they move out of your way.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and like you're not even going fast, but like
Yeah.
they just move out of
see
your
this-
way,
this-
and then next
this
thing you know,
mammoth,
yeah, you just
which is literally the Hennessy version is called Mammoth.
yeah, exactly, yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
it-
which is like our
it
favorite
is.
thing to talk about because there's a video with John Hennessy driving in the new Mammoth TRX, and
Yeah.
he was like pretty much being
Is this
like
the brakes?
Hey, yeah. So he was like, pretty much, he was like, yeah, the car does, or the truck does all this crazy stuff. Brembo really couldn't come up with a good brake kit for it, so you know, but it still stops pretty good.
yeah, exactly,
Pretty good.
pretty good,
Pretty good. It's like 8,000 pounds, and it can go 0 to 60 in
Yeah,
4 seconds.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
I need it to stop.
I need it to be like that's the most important part of the truck.
need a 10-piston
Brembo
caliper.
can't make brakes good enough, so we're just going to send it with the stock brakes. That's fine.
Yeah, like we still have to make sales.
Well, you know what's funny about Brembo? It's like everything Brembo makes, it's all the same. Like every caliper. So like I have a big brake kit for the M3,
Fuck yeah.
and like I got that from the previous owner.
Yeah.
When I'm doing research on it to figure out everything, like the pads and stuff that I need to throw on it, it's the same calipers off an F40. The exact same calipers you will find on an F40 is the exact calipers that I have.
They found
So-
a design and they were like, this works.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, so you come to find like most 6-pots and 4-pot pistons or calipers or whatever, like they're all more or less the same, and they all fit the same. Like so, the same these brakes will fit a 350Z or whatever. Same thing as an F40. Same thing as this that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's like wow, okay, they're really not making.
There's not much innovation.
Yeah, there's not really. I mean, I guess if it works, it works. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, but like
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like wow,
I
you kind of
expected
opens
more.
up your eyes. Yeah, you kind of. So like on Sir Miss, after the rotors, that was the fourth thing that I was thinking of. The rotors are front rotors they got. I don't know if they were mismanufactured, but I used R1 Concepts, and they no longer just do slotted rotors. But I used those on the M3 for 3 years of racing straight before they actually were a problem. And they weren't even a problem. That I just cut them, and they were way too thin, and I drove down to Georgia. They were still fine, but still, they're like in the back of my mind, like
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
crack, don't crack. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
please
dude.
don't.
Are they cross-drilled or just slotted?
Just slot it. Don't do
Yeah,
no
so
cross
cracking's
drill.
a little less likely. Cross-drilled.
Exactly. It's prone to happen on a
Yeah.
cross. That's why don't run no cross drills.
No, in fact, the only one of the few manufacturers that has factory cross drilled is Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cross drilled. They're cast that way.
Exactly.
So the grain structure follows a hole instead of you punching through the grain structure and creating points where cracks happen. So another little fun tip: avoid cross-drilled rotors.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Because I will be the first to tell you too. Like after tracking the vehicle, like little tiny hairline cracks do show up on the rotor. You know what I mean? Which they're not nothing like to be like, oh my god, you know. But it's like,
how long are you gonna trust that?
Exactly. How long does it take for that to actually turn into a huge crack? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's just the rotors. Like I'm gonna be putting a Porsche brakes on it from the Boxster. Yeah, you do little 4-pot pistons off a Porsche Boxster from like 2001, the first gen. You know what I mean? Yeah, they make a little kit, a little bracket and everything.
Little adapter bracket.
Yep, and you get your nice little, so it'll say Porsche right on the front of it. It's like, I can't get away from the German part.
Are you gonna have to get bigger wheels to fit around those?
Well, that's why I have the 16-inch rotors, and that's why I don't really plan on going down to 15s yet. I know most Koenig wheels will fit those calipers in 15s, but I want to keep the 16s just to kind of see where everything is first. You know,
it looks sick,
dude. I know. I love it. It's funny, like the powder coat costs more than the actual wheels. Like, you know,
dude, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I bought the wheels off a friend. So the guy I race with, my buddy Josh, I think he originally bought those rotors, and then like he's got his friend group, and the rotors has kind of been to this person, and then they landed at this person.
They've been passed around.
They've been passed around. They've been sprayed 4 or 5 different times, like different colors. And it's funny, when I dropped them off with my buddy Jordan to do the powder coat, he was like, how many times were these things sprayed? I was like, oh, like 4 or 5. He's like, I must have stripped like 4 or 5 different layers of paint off this thing. Yeah. I was like, sick. Well, at least he got them done, you know what I mean? But I bought them off of a friend of mine, Brennan, for $200. You know, they're just some rotors, you know what I mean? Nothing crazy. Yeah, brother, you gotta have the slipstreams, you know? Yeah, there they are.
That
so
powder coat looks really good.
It looks
so
black,
good.
but it's a dark bronze.
Yeah.
So it's like once you get a light on it, it's got this really nice like root beer sparkle bronzy
I know
look
all
to it.
about that problem.
Bingo. You know what I mean? So it's just like the Buick, you know? So, but that was when I was trying to test out the fitment. So it was funny. We had to roll fenders at the track. I'm like, dude, the first lap where I spun out on, you'll hear it like when you watch the video, you hear the you know what I mean? Yeah. Get back out there, and I'm talking to my buddy Josh. I'm like, yo, dude, like I'm rubbing pretty hard. We're looking at the tires. He's like, yeah, you're hitting the meat, but you're not hitting the sidewall, so it's like it should be okay. I'm like, we should definitely try to do something, you know?
I like it.
So we look over at the jack that we have, and we're like,
It's got a handle?
it's got a handle. Make it happen. So I hop in the car real quick, and he's sitting. It was only really the right front fender because it was dented in a little bit, so you don't really see it in the pictures. But like that fender looks factory, it's normal, you know what I mean? It hasn't been hit.
You had clearance.
Yeah, the right front one was a little dented in a little bit, so yeah, kind of hard to see there. But
and of course, you're taking pictures from the nice side.
yeah, come on, man, I gotta, you know, leave me alone. There you go. Yeah, so you kind of see how that front part was in a little bit, and the inside of it was coming out, like coming undone. So he stuffed that jack handle right in the front there, you know what I mean? And then I pulled the car back just a wee bit, and he's like, it works, we're good. So, and it was pretty solid from there on out. I touched up the rears the best that I could without, you know, because they're all rusted out and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with like
stuff.
how many of these Hondas are still on the road and how common that problem is, you can probably find like patch panels for them.
So my one boy Justin, shout out Juddy Jut,
Shout out.
the paint god, you know what I mean? That's what I'd like to call him. He works at A.M.S. Auto Body right around me, and I don't know if you guys know them, but dude, they do some crazy work. Like he was painting the McLaren Senna one time, like at the place. Like they're one of like
Few
people that have actually had a McLaren Senna in for probably body work, I guess. You know, I don't know the whole story, but all I know is I just see a McLaren Senna on his Instagram one time, and I'm like, bro,
I'd be scared to look at that thing.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know how you did it. So I think he was touching up like carbon fiber parts too and stuff like that. Yeah. So he also painted like his little brother's car, 318 BMW, hatchback, one of those little things.
Yeah,
it went from like
the TIs.
yeah, the TIs.
Dude,
So,
they're so sick.
E36.
what was that?
Was
yeah,
it
E36? Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
weird. They have E30 rear suspension.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
you know, it's all mix match. That's kind of how the Z3s and stuff like that are. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Justin, he's gonna do all the painting and stuff like that
The
for
body
me.
work
Yeah, all
for
the body work and
the
all
rust.
that. So I've been in touch with him about the patch panels and like quarters and stuff like that. So we'll
Maybe
get around to
maybe
it.
a hood.
Carbon fiber hood.
There you go.
Yeah, going with
You know,
the
you
carbon
should just get
fiber.
carbon fiber front fenders too.
So that was the original plan, but with racing and everything like that, I don't want to take that risk of putting $800 front fenders on that, and then like the wheels getting mangled or something like that, screwing up the fenders. But
Just make sure the clearance is good.
hey, as we already talked about,
Yeah, we just
you can't
roll,
roll a carbon
we just
fiber
roll
fender.
fenders on track day.
I like my fitments tight, as you can see on the M3 as well. When that thing's going around the track, it's tight, you know.
Yeah.
But
And you got some meats on that thing.
dude, they're 205, so it's nothing like too
but they're
crazy.
but the car weighs
they're busting on the wheels right
that's
now.
what I'm
Like
saying,
like
dude.
this picture. I mean, come on.
I know, dude.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
just
saying. I love
get on,
that picture.
You got
right now,
205s on a car
somebody-
that weighs what, 2,600 pounds?
Well, with me in it, you know what I mean? It's a little bit more, you know, I'm working on that. So,
But
yeah.
if you're watching this right now, I mean, get on his Instagram right now and go check out the Honda Civic.
Yeah,
'Cause,
the Serve Mist, it's
they Sierra Mist.
Yeah,
Get in
it's-
there.
That's what, and so like the name too, like you might not know
perfect.
it. It's perfect because the car, when my buddy Josh originally owned it, my buddy who I race with, like he bought his Type R, and I was like, so "What are you doing with this thing?" you know what I mean? He's like, "Give me $1,000, I'll give it to you."
Hell yeah.
So a shell, an SI shell for $1,000. Let's be honest here. You
That
know
doesn't
what I mean?
exist anymore.
You don't really get that
EG, yeah.
anymore. You know, that's old school shit. You know, so you know, he's like my brother, thank God. So
Yeah.
of course he gives it to me for that. But like, man, like you just don't. It's kind of hard to find them like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but $1,000 for the shell after that, you just swap the motor in it, and it's like. Dude, it just came out perfect. Like every
Yeah.
time I talk, it's kind of hard to like not get giddy when I talk
Yep.
about it because like I said,
No, dude, I honestly I love that.
ah.
And if I hope that like that comes through on the podcast is like how excited you get because like
man, like-
this is what people who don't like who aren't car enthusiasts, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get like why you would spend all of your money, all of your time, and why you're screaming in your driveway and like, you're so mad.
While
And
your
they're like,
truck's rolling
why
down
would
the
he just keep
driveway."
spending his money on this? And he just day after day just doing this and doing this, and it's just for that one moment.
oh yeah,
That
exactly.
one moment, and you're
Yeah.
done, and you're looking at it, or you turn around to just lock it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then you stop.
Well, yeah,
Like,
you were
know.
yelling at me today because you had the garage door open, and I'm just standing there like looking
Technically,
at the Buick.
you had the garage door open.
You
I'm just
opened
kidding.
it.
I'm kidding.
Listen, this is my house. You close that garage.
Hey, I'm a guy who likes it cold. You know what I mean? So but I do my best to keep it warm in the
Amen,
studio.
brother.
But when we're letting people in and out, I'm just like,
Yeah.
whatever. And like, but I mean, some people like it a little warmer.
yeah, no, it does.
Than
Well,
others.
that's because he's
So
a
I was
stick.
like, yeah. So he just forgot something,
Yeah.
and then like ran back, and
Yeah.
then when he went to go run back, he's like in a hurry. He's like runs back because like he's like he has to close the garage door.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to close it, and he was like,
It's just that car guy
and he's
thing.
like hits it. I'm like, dude, it's freezing in here.
It's that car guy thing. You know what I
If
mean?
you don't look back at your car when you lock it and walk away, you
Yeah.
bought the wrong car. You bought the wrong
Exactly,
car.
you know, and that's how I feel about this. Like, sorry when we talk about it, I will lose track just staring at it. Like,
Yeah, that's fine, man.
man, it's just
We're here for it.
you know, because 4 years I was like, it took me a lot of it was procrastination, just like how you feel with the Fiero. A lot of it was
And the Buick, to
procrastination.
be honest.
Yeah, and the Buick. Yeah, let's be honest. It's just any car, you know what I mean? Because I mean, I put the motor in maybe like 2 years ago, got it running maybe like 2 years ago, but like, it's all the odds and ends that I wasn't familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I plug the evap lines in? Because a lot of like that with the bolt-ons, all the ports aren't there no more.
Yeah.
So like, I still think I might fuck that up. You know,
Well, that's the other problem. Like, forums and YouTube and all that, great resource to learn this shit. But it's the weird niche, unique situations you run into where you're like, let me search a forum. It's not there. And then you ask them, like, didn't you use the search bar?
Yeah, exactly. And then with that being said, too, it's like all the forums have been dead for over 10 years.
A lot of them
more or
have.
less. Yes,
Dude,
more or
for
less
sure. I remember in my E36, someone just in passing, I was telling that I was replacing. I told him I was replacing the window regulator, and if any, it's
E36 problems.
So if anybody has an E36 or has a late 90s BMW, knows that the window, and you're still laughing because it's so funny. The window regulators go all of the fucking time,
dude, so
and
bad.
what the big thing with them is the hardware that connects to them that like snaps and like and they are put together like kind of in this like weird configuration that's not like generally typical. So when someone, I remember like someone just kind of giggling to me that they were doing it, and we're like, it wasn't in the right time for them to explain to me like, hey, look, this is going to be hard. So, but I remember before I bought it, going to do it, and I'm like, well, let me look up a YouTube video. And I'm going through the YouTube video, and as I go through it, I'm watching it, I'm like, this looks pretty good. And then I had like a conscious thought to be like, let me just look through the comments, make sure this is a good video. And I'm going through, and the first comment was, why the fuck would you not complete the video? And I was like,
Oh, that's...
dude, somebody had gotten through the video.
No way.
And
Dude.
Their car's in pieces.
Like, yeah, this dude's just big man at this point. Like, he's like, fuck this video, dude, I'm done.
Like, there was a huge section, a very important part of like replacing this
That is some
window.
shit. But that's how like the forums are though. Like you'll find something that you've been looking for,
they
and
have
then
the
like
same problem.
yeah, they had the same problem, and it's like, okay, well I'm gonna go try it and report back to you guys later, and motherfucker disappeared.
Or no, never mind, I got it.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, dude, what did you do?
They got pictures and it's all dead links. It's like
exactly.
an old photo
Oh
bucket account
yeah,
that's
yeah.
gone.
Photo bucket. You know what I mean?
R.I.P. to photo bucket.
Yeah, for real, big facts. Yeah, and that's kind of how Serve
And
was.
then the other thing is like forums that like you have to be a member
Yeah.
to click on. I think it's like, bro, I
yeah,
don't want to sign up for this. I literally just need to know this one problem and I'll be on my way. Don't make me sign up for your forum and go through an intro,
yeah.
intro thread before I can just go back there and click on this damn picture of this one part that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, and that's what I
Yeah.
like. That's what I'm saying. Like the procrastination.
I
was
literally
heavy.
just went through that actually.
Yeah.
I thought I blew up the diff on the Buick, and I'm trying to find any bit
Oh
of
yeah,
information.
yeah. Well, good luck
and I
with the
find
old
like,
cars.
well, I found it's literally like old Buick forum.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's sweet.
And they have all of the information on the Buick 938's rear, and some guys got like pictures. I'm like, oh, I need to see if that's my rear,
Yeah.
because then I know I need the parts are this spec, and maybe if I'm lucky, I can find something that cross references.
Yeah,
It might be
yeah,
a Dana Spicer rear, or it could be an Eaton. They're still around.
Oh,
I
yeah,
might be able to find
100%.
something.
100%.
But I go to click on the picture, and it's like sign in.
Nah,
No.
fam. Nah, not
This thread's from like 2018.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna go on here and I have no need to sign in. I just need to see this damn picture.
and that's where those hackers are sitting at, waiting for you to sign in. You know what I mean? Just sitting by on Photo Bucket. Oh man,
Yeah, and that's
this is how
funny.
it goes.
I had always run into problems like that where I could never like find the answer online. Where like just it was never a viable option, and then I would figure it out on my own. But I never even had the conscious thought to be like, why didn't you go on a forum?
Yeah.
Like I should have created. I had tons of things. Like one of the things that was like the craziest, which had a lot of forums. I don't know if you know much about the SR20 for Nissans.
Yeah.
So he works at Nissan.
Still hate him.
Well, I don't think he worked at Nissan
Back
in
in
94 was
94
never sold in America as far as I know.
in Japan.
Yeah, but our buddy,
Yeah.
my one buddy, deals with the He's got a 240, so I think he has an SR20 in his 240.
Yeah.
So, but he's always like, "Oh, it makes 300 horsepower." I'm like, that's enough.
300 is good. Yeah,
That's
I mean,
enough.
if it's 300, it's not stock.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's good, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Yeah, I mean, so the biggest problem that I had on the car is I had the original exhaust manifold and original turbo.
okay.
The turbo bolts on the manifold, they would just vibrate off, and then like within like a day, I would have like an issue with. Like now I have an exhaust leak.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I have an exhaust leak?
Yeah.
Like, well, I literally just like I fixed this. Like,
Yeah,
what,
exactly.
how did this happen? And so it's not just an exhaust leak. I've now just, I mean, it's so close to the engine block that it just blows out the gasket, a metal gasket. It's blown out, dude.
That's
so
crazy.
now I have to wait on a gasket from, you know, like, used to be ISIS, but ISR Racing.
Yeah.
I had to like wait like, you know, like a week for them to send me a gasket and then fix it. So eventually my buddy Nick Peaceclock, shout out Nick Peaceclock, we took the whole thing out and we figured out that we could take, it's tough, it's a bottom mount turbo.
Yeah.
So like mounting the bolts in general were just awful.
A little bit of a problem.
So, but we were able to pull the whole turbo out with the manifold still attached. So we were like, okay, like now we know that we can weld it all together.
Never mind using Loctite or you know a nylock or
Yeah.
anything
So-
like that. Lock washers.
Just keep it
So
permanent.
think about it. So here's a couple things. So number one, a nylock washer is not going to work
Well,
because
yeah, it'll melt.
it's going to melt.
Facts.
Then number
Well,
two,
they have the slightly oblong ones that are meant to do the
yes,
same thing.
and so I
Yeah.
did those, and those backed out. I swear
Red
to God.
Loctite.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so
No, because
now
they need heat. You need
Loctite-
yellow, I think, which is the permanent. There's different colors that mean different
Yeah,
things.
yeah. So at that point, like we're no longer talking about Loctite. So what we did is we got a new gasket. We got new of those oval bolts. They're talking about the oblong like lock
Yeah.
bolts that won't melt. And then he just put like a little dollop of weld
There
around
you
the
go.
thread. You know, like a professional. And that did it.
I like it.
And that was like, and it stayed like that forever. And so that way we could like, if we needed to, and if anything ever happened to the turbo, which
You could just
eventually
cut the bolt.
would, just
yeah,
cut the bolts
exactly.
off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
A little bit
and
more
it
of a
worked
pain,
out.
but hey, it
I don't know
works.
if I ever told you this story, but when I was working at Honda, one of the techs, and I never confirmed this myself, but I've seen the truck and I knew the guy and I knew he was batshit crazy. He had like an F350 dually diesel. Might have been a 6.4. I forget the details. This was years ago. But I remember he was saying, like, you know, going down to Cruise Week, he'd be able to keep up with, like, GTRs.
Yeah.
Like, that's how fast and work this thing. But he kept lifting the head off the block, even with, like, studs and shit.
Yeah.
So he welded the heads to the block.
Oh my God, dude!
All right, that's one way to do it,
Dude,
I like
that's-
it. That's one way.
that'll
to do
get the
it.
job
yeah,
done.
definitely. You know, hey, if it ain't gonna stay, just weld it, brother. You know what I mean?
Bro, that's wild.
That is crazy.
I've never heard that story.
I mean,
That's so wild.
I haven't done anything sketchy like that, but the first time I ever did, when like first like working at my uncle's shop, first AC compressor I ever did on a Lexus GS 300.
Still full of refrigerant.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Well, you know, old school shop. You know, you do the best you can. But,
You recovered that refrigerant.
yeah, we recovered
didn't
it
vent
allegedly.
EPA, don't worry.
yeah, exactly.
The refrigerent
Yeah.
was recovered.
It was. We had a little vacuum pump in that. One of those little johns that sit on the ground. You know,
Yeah.
flick it over. Yeah. One of those
Turns
little-
out that's what we use in the HVAC industry
Yeah,
too.
that's-
exactly.
That's
It all
industry
works.
standard.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy. I
It
thought,
is.
like,
that was a
just-
rude awakening. I'm like, where's the machine where I punch in the
Yeah,
amount I gotta
exactly.
put in and it does it for me? Nope,
Yeah.
you're weighing that shit yourself.
Well,
But-
dude,
yeah.
no. So what he's talking about, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like a little.
So
you know,
what
thingy
he's
things.
talking about is the silver bullets.
Yeah.
Those like the little bullet. Like
yeah,
the,
no, I was just talking about in general, like with car AC, it's all one and done machine.
No, it's not.
No, nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, so apparently
inside
Zach
those
and I
machines,
have
you
worked in
know.
different shops. You know,
Oh, every single
so
shop
I
worked
worked.
that had the Robin Air thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but this
so-
is when you own your own shop and you ain't got 10 grand to spend. Yeah, I mean, like this is
Yeah.
what you have at the parts store that costs $100 and some odd dollars, and it looks like one of those little air pumps that you would put on the side of the road to fill up your tire.
But no, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, one of those.
I worked in a shop where they had this like little thing that sat on the ground. It was heavy as hell.
Yeah,
and they hooked hoses up to it, and that's how they pulled their vacuum. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And then I remember like when I got into HVAC and I saw somebody like for the first time pulling a vacuum on a system, and I was like, that's that machine.
Yeah, exactly.
They use the same machine.
Thing. Yeah, 100%.
But for sure, like the majority of the places I worked at all had that like cart with the wheels and had a recovery tank on it and stuff. Yeah.
But let's be honest here. There's cart with the wheels and everything. All it is just a fancy little plastic holding thing, and it's inside of it is a tank and a vacuum pump. Same pump exactly. Scale. Yeah. A little less quiet. You know what I mean? That's about it. You know. So, but yeah, those things. Yeah, that thing's sweet. But so I mixed up the bolts. Top bolts longer, bottom bolts shorter, whatever have you. So air ratchet first, starting to get used to that.
That was
a little weird, but
spot.
Yeah, it's tight, whatever. Go to start up the car. Uncle's like, shut it off. He's like, there's oil everywhere. What the hell did you do? I'm like, I don't know. All I did was the compressor. Take it back apart. There's a hole in the side of the block. So most of our business was wholesale cars. We had a guy that bought cars from the auction, brought it to us, we fix them, we sell them right back. Good cars, decent cars,
Yeah. Cars with holes in the block.
Well, so he's sitting there. He's like, my uncle's like, man, what the fuck? How the hell did you accomplish it? It's like, I don't know. So he's like, all right. We gotta fix this.
It's not my fault Toyota put an oil galley right behind the compressor hole.
It made this bolt that long so it would do this. So, what do you call it? He's like, all right, well, we gotta fix it because obviously this car needs to be sold. So he calls up the dude. He's like, we're gonna need an extra day. Part didn't come. So that night, excuse me, we spent a little extra time, and what do you call it? We my uncle looks at the hole. He's like, all right, it's about the same size as a M8 bolt, whatever, M10 bolt, whatever. So he threads the hole with tap and die. Really, really official. Finds a bolt. He's able to tighten up the bolt. Puts a bunch of JB weld around the bolt.
We were just talking about the right way to use JB Weld, and we don't think it exists.
And this is the right way. So we JB Weld the shit out over that bolt. Let it sit overnight. Come back the next night. Run the balls off of this thing. Let it sit outside for 2 hours. Run it up and down the street as hard as we can. Come back, check it. Let it sit some more. Run the balls out of it some more. Did this for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Sealed.
Based on my experience with JB Weld,
sealed it.
That'll last as long as the block would have lasted.
Sealed it, brother. And he was like, good to go. Come pick this up, send it out to the auction. So I feel bad for whoever bought that Lexus, but I mean, hey, who knows where it's still at to this day?
Hey, man, look, that's better quality assurance than Boeing right now.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't be the whistleblower on that. I might have to disappear. Somebody's going to be like, fuck that Lexus, dude.
Adrian, that's actually how Adrian and I started talking about it. It's just But yeah, we were talking about like JB Weld and like things like Quick Steel. Where like those are the kind of products where like that there's no time you ever use one of those products and someone looks at it and goes, yeah, that was the right way to fix that.
Of course not.
Like those are those products. They're just like these are products that don't do the right thing.
Dude, like they're so terrible. I remember like my Camaro when I needed to move it out from the shop.
Yeah.
One time I go to start it up and it's pissing out fuel from the driver rear, like right before the rear wheel, and I'm like, where is that coming from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get underneath of it and I get under and I just see this like bee's nest looking thing, and I'm like, fucking JB Weld. I'm like, Oh, dude! So my stepdad, I guess, must have found this fuel leak a while back or whatever.
on a
when the
hard
car
line?
was, it's on a hard line. So he JB welded the shit out of this hard line, and
Just
I mean,
kept
like,
putting
it's
it on
literally,
until
like,
it sealed.
It's literally like it's about as big as a baseball of goop on there. I don't know how he even accomplished that. But and it held until the fuel ate through it, of course. But I mean, I'm like, dude, he must have did this years ago because when it was sitting out back of my house, he must have done it or something like that. I'm like, I didn't even know there was a fuel leak.
Speaking of like JB Weld, having some debate with people. I've showed this photo, but this is the drain plug on my Buick. Like I said before, I thought I blew up the rear and then it fixed itself. So immediately I wanted to change the fluid.
Yeah, of course.
I'll send this to you so you can put it on screen. But there's the drain plug. I don't know if that's like JB Weld or what.
Nah, you can just show the camera.
That's not even a.
You can show the camera.
Well,
it's not
I
even.
don't know how well that's going to come across.
That's not even a plug.
You
It's
can
just a
reach.
thing of
Get in
goop.
there.
Where's the plug at?
Get in there.
That should be like a bolt or something.
Yeah, that looks
should be a
good.
bolt or something.
Yeah, did I show you that?
Yeah, that's bad.
So how do you drain the oil then?
Well, luckily I was at Wes's shop,
Yeah.
and shout out PR Diesel Automotive.
Oh.
But he had a little suck fill pump thing.
Okay.
So I just shoved a hose in there, got all the way to the bottom of the
Yeah.
diff, and sucked it all out.
That's pretty. It works. I like it.
It's better than not being able to change it at all because it's an old school diff. It doesn't have a removable cover. It's
Yeah.
that old school two-piece solid metal,
Yeah.
big freaking thing.
Yep.
Like the differential's like that big.
Yeah. Any coolant fins on it? No. Because that's like the M3. It's like it's not like that. It's a giant cover, but it's got a bunch of coolant fins.
No,
on it.
this is
Yeah.
it's
the
a
reason.
like you know
Yeah.
how the Ford 9-inch rear is like legendary.
Yeah,
This is a
yeah.
Buick 9 3/8 inch.
Let's do it. Dude.
It's
I like
bigger.
it. I like it a lot. Hell yeah. Maybe we should just put a Ford 9.9. As much as I hate to say it, might actually just be better.
I mean, I'd be able to find parts for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you gotta look at the upside, brother. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't want to get like custom axles
Yeah.
made for the spline count and all that, and make it
Yeah.
play nice with the hubs that are back there and fit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to change all the brakes and
Yeah,
all
I
that.
know what you mean.
And then I have to cut all the brackets for the suspension off my old one and weld it onto the new one, make sure
Exactly.
it's located right.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd have to send it to a shop to have it chopped and lengthened or narrowed.
All that good stuff. You know. That's
It's a
why you
lot.
just need something to just kind of.
You could just get some fat boy wheels on it, dude.
Nah, we're talking.
Come
brother.
on.
Fat boy
you got like
wheels for
2 foot
the,
wide wheels
the
on it.
200 horsepower the thing
Put that-
probably makes.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
that motor rebuild. Come on.
Come on.
That thing made 325 horsepower with a 4-barrel carburetor.
Yeah.
SAE gross. Back in its day. I rebuilt the top end. I didn't touch the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. It's all right though. It's all right. Bottom end will be all right. It's just
So
rings
you
and
you
stuff.
adjust that to net, and we're probably already looking at like what 250 horsepower.
Yeah, that's good enough. You know, it moves the
Then
car.
you put in the drivetrain loss for that single-speed Dynaflow transmission with the world's biggest torque converter.
Yeah, exactly. That thing is ridiculous, dude.
And what am I probably like maybe 200 of the rear?
9,000 stall.
It's enough to spin them. Oh, speaking of which, found out Buick's faster than a non-turbo Hyundai Sonata
I like
in
it.
sport mode.
I like it. Hell yeah.
Collins.
Brag.
Collins specifically. We raced from a roll, and I was walking him up the hill.
I like
Dude,
it.
where did
Came
you
up-
find Colin?
Oh, coming back from school.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But then
Yeah, you're like,
stopped
come
at a
on,
red
cuh.
light.
Come on, cuh.
Yeah.
Stopped at a
You
red
mean
light.
in
and he was
Mexico?
like-
You mean in Mexico?
Yeah, red light in
specifically.
Mexico. It was a Mexican
They
red
go
light.
to school in Mexico.
It's a hell of a commute.
It's a hell of a commute.
Great friends with the border guards, though.
Yeah.
But yeah,
get
came up to a red light. And he's like, "Dude, I had it mad, and you were still pulling." He's like, "But I didn't have it in sport mode. Hang on."
Like, that's gonna make the difference.
Put it in sport mode. I dropped it into low. Light went green and spun one wheel. Then I felt it lock up, spin the other, and the back started sidestepping a bit. I'm like, "Oh, she's back."
Yeah, I like
You
it.
almost
brother.
had like a G-body shuffle
Yeah,
happening.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
for real. For
But yeah,
real.
got up ahead of him, bumped it into drive, and
Dude, just gave him the tails.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave him the tails, dude.
Put the hazards on real quick.
that whole living room got moved. It actually doesn't have hazards.
Ah, no.
The Buick
it's too
does not
old
have
for that.
hazards.
Yeah, it's too old.
Yeah, things didn't break back then.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
never.
Yeah, for real. And if you did, it broke at home or something, you know?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I had my whole living room doing like at least 45 miles an hour because that's the speed limit.
yeah, up to 45, dude.
It's so good though, you know.
Yeah.
It's living room on wheels, brother.
Literally. Dude.
God, I love that.
Oh man.
My mental health has an unhealthy dependency on that car. Whenever it breaks, I am depressed.
Oh, dude, I understand that. You know, that's what on the back of the M3 it says my emotional support vehicle.
Yeah, it's painfully true.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
true. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so where'd you build that whole engine at?
Right at Honda. Right
Oh,
when
you
I
did
was,
it-
when I was working at Honda. Yeah.
Okay, so you did it at work.
Literally was right in front of my toolbox, man.
Nice.
That was the beautiful thing about working at like dealerships and in garages.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All my tools are right there.
Yep. Well, that's what That's
Lift.
why I was like, dude, let me just pull the motor out. You know, I did it like on a day off out of the Del Sol and put it right on the engine stand and
Shoved it
that's-
out of the way.
Yeah. Well, when I was at Honda, I had my toolbox and then I had a bench right next to it. I was one of the few guys that had a bench all to himself. So like all
privileged.
my right. Oh, when you were as good as I was, you know. So I was able to kind of like I put it off to the side in front of the bench, threw a fender cover over it, so it was kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So like when the big
Yeah,
wigs
like
would walk
dust
through,
and stuff.
dust and stuff like that. And so it kind of blended in a little bit. So nobody ever gave me shit for it. But yeah, built it all right there, had a guy that was right around the corner that I used for my machine work that I used for when I had my shop and stuff like that. So, dropped the head off to him, just put it all together, day by day, week by week. I think it took me about a year or so to put it all together. All the go fast parts for the head I had sitting up underneath the bed for maybe over a year before I did the motor build,
Yeah.
So it definitely took some time,
Yeah.
Like I said, the procrastination was real with like the evap and stuff like that because didn't know where everything went. The wiring was actually easy enough because it was more or less as old school Hondas go, plug and play. Came into one issue to one time. I was like, dude, the connector won't connect. Buddy Josh comes over, he looks at it, he's like, picks out the little white lock thing out of there, and he's like, click, there you go.
Oh, so it was like a dead plug before.
Yeah,
and,
exactly,
like,
or
now-
whatever, or like the
Yeah.
locks weren't mashing up together. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, there you go, that fixes it.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
God, old
But-
cars are so
Yeah,
great to
just
work
those like
on.
little things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
personally,
So cool.
like 90s and earlier are just generally easier to work on. There's a little weird late 80s, early 90s where they did a lot of shit with vacuum that gets
Yeah, but all it is just
Yeah.
lines and stuff. So
It
it's
is at the
everything,
end of the day.
as long as you can see where everything goes and whatever have you, then replace some of the lines. You're usually good
Do you
to
know how many
go.
vacuum lines the Buick has?
I'm sure a lot, dude.
One.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice.
From the intake, from the carburetor
Well, that's true.
after the throttle plates
Okay.
to the distributor.
Okay.
That's the
That's
only
not that
vacuum
bad.
line on it. Yeah,
As
there's-
opposed to like a '90s car where there is a lot of vacuum.
Yeah.
There's the vacuum
Yeah.
line for that. There's the fuel line running up from the tank to the pump, and then from the
Yeah.
pump to the carburetor.
Okay.
2 radiator hoses, 2 heater hoses. That's
about
it.
All right.
Yeah,
I
that's
like it.
literally it.
It's so simple. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It is so simple.
That's
but-
also why I've been like dragging my feet putting the Fiera back together.
Yeah.
I have forgotten. Where
It's a
everything
mess,
goes.
dude. It's a
Yeah.
mess, That's just kind of how that was, like just putting it all together. It's just
spaghetti
you
mess of
put it all
vacuum
together,
lines.
you let it sit, and it's like,
And GM
Okay.
harnesses are not as. You can't just look at them and go, oh yeah,
oh well, no,
like
yeah,
a
of
Honda.
course. Yeah,
I mean that might just be that.
It works.
You remember we grew
Yeah.
up doing driveway engine swaps.
Yeah.
like every other weekend.
Yeah, dude.
So
Hell yeah.
we got real familiar with like,
Yeah.
oh, that's the map sensor, that's
Yeah.
the throttle position sensor.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's the IAT. All right, that goes into the distributor. That one goes down. That goes into the bulkhead for the ECM. Like,
Yeah. It's a whole
Yeah,
different
dude,
ballgame.
and I think that like kind of like boosted my ego when I like working on cars. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, dude, I can work on cars. I've been working on a Honda
Yeah.
for like 3 years. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
see
know
your
what
first
the-
Volkswagen.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, I can't even find the oil filter.
No,
I'm like,
yeah,
where did they put this there?
and that's kind of how it is with
God,
like me too with the
I remember
BMWs.
David's
Yeah.
Beetle.
Oh, dude.
Oh
right.
God.
Why do you need to pull?
The
Why
Beetle,
do you
dude.
need to pull the intake manifold to do spark plugs on a 4-cylinder?
so bad. That's because that's Volkswagen stuff. Let's put the whole manifold over everything. You know what I mean?
On
Try
a
to fit it.
4-cylinder.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. That's Volkswagen Audi shit. You know.
VAG. I hate working on VAG cars.
Any VAG. Yeah. Any VAG cars suck.
They might be nice to drive. I'll give them that.
Oh yeah.
When they're working.
Yeah, but when they work, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Older Volkswagen kind of gets a pass.
Yeah.
Even their early water-cooled stuff is pretty simple. They were still trying to base everything on simplicity.
Yeah.
Their whole credo with like the air-cooled shit especially was like simple,
That's okay.
reliable.
Yeah, that stuff's okay.
Where did they lose the plot?
It's like a Mark III, Mark IV Jetta or something like that. It's just like, bruh.
Bro, your car smells like crayons and none of the electronics work and I can't read any of the buttons. What the hell is this?
Yeah, dude.
Boys,
So
I
bad.
gotta pee. Let's take a pee break.
That's
You guys ready? All right. Yeah, folks, back from the pee break.
Yeah, back from the
So-
P-break.
So,
welcome back.
yeah, I think I was just ranting about Volkswagens, but
Yeah.
we got off topic.
Oh, yeah. So you want me to explain the name?
Yeah.
So the name of Sir Mist was, I thought it was pretty clever in my eyes. So the whole idea of this car was,
This is your Honda Civic.
my Honda's my '93 Honda Civic. The whole idea was basically, since I was putting the B16 in it, was to more or less make it an SIR from Japan, because that's what those EGs SIRs were they were B16 cars.
Yeah.
So.
And super rare.
Yeah, super rare too, you know. But you know how those things are; they're pretty sweet, and they rip, you know. So previous owner of it was my boy Josh. When he bought the Type R, he sold me the car as a shell, yada yada yada. The original name of the car was Pepsi. Pep SI, because it was a Peppy SI, you know. So he always wanted it to be like Pepsi Blue, like, you know, that color and stuff.
Cool.
I saw it somewhere in this little highlight
it's
reel you
in
made.
the other one, I think. Yeah, that one. So since I wanted it to be an S, there it is. Since I wanted it to be an SIR, I was like, well, I want to try to keep the same
Theme.
like kind of like the theme of the car, you know what I mean? And so I was like, Pep SI, what's the plate gonna be? And I'm like, oh shit, Sierra Mist. It's green. I'm like, oh shit, Sierra Mist. I'm like, hey, there we go. And so I finally started getting together, and my one boy was like, yo, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So, but then of course, it's starry now. You know what I mean? So you can't find. I wanted to get like a Sierra Mist can and stuff like that.
And,
so
the Civic is from the era of Sierra Mist.
oh
you know.
yeah, exactly. So you know, you get it. You know, I'll probably get like somebody to like cricket little Sierra Mist sticker on it one day. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So. But yeah, that was the whole idea behind the name of Sir Mist. I got a plate on the way and everything like that. So I was hoping I'd have it for track day, but it didn't come in. So. But yeah.
So what got you into track racing? Like, how did you? I mean, because like as a car guy, that's like every guy's dream is to get into like racing cars. But like getting to that point to actually making a track day and like you know. And I dabbled, you know, but like, and I know that's hard. That's like that's every penny, and it's like making sure your car is in complete order to pass tech. Getting there, it's like it's tough. So like
it's tough, and that's why I say like
what got you there.
It's exactly what you said. Like it's every car guy's dream. So it's like, you know, I mean, when I met Adrian, you know, we were at automotive school, and it's like playing fours every single day after school and stuff like that, racing against each other. Like that was fun times.
I remember
you know?
one specific time where I said that I could beat you in a 64 Impala, and you were in I think a BMW like E30.
Yeah.
And I was winning, so you physically pushed me over.
Yeah, exactly. It's good stuff. Very violent guy I am. But yeah, you know, doing dirty stuff like that to try to get him, because Adrian was the guy to beat. You know, it was, and he had it all figured out.
Now that's translated to absolutely nothing, because I'm the only one sitting at this table who's never set foot on a track.
Yeah, but in Forza, you still would probably crush me, because I mean, dude, even Fluff was crushing me. I hate to admit it, he was crushing me when we were going head to head.
Drift all of us.
Like no, not drifting. Like I'll outdrift them in the game, but like actually racing. Like it was becoming. You ask them about it when you get back home. Like we became a problem to where we were going back and forth on each other's times. Remember that? Yeah, remember? Yeah, you might have gotten, or he might have told you about it. Yeah. So like. So it was basically just stuff like that got me into it. You know what I mean? Just that type of competitiveness, that fun, but like always wondering how do you do it for real? And back then in school, we were just talking about it. All I had, we were broke, and all I had was a freaking 99 Ram 1500. You can't really be racing one of them, So, but I always enjoyed BMWs and stuff like that. So, so when I met my buddy Josh at Honda, he kind of was the same way. And so we always talked about it, always mentioned Forza, stuff amongst those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was just kind of like, after he bought his Type R, I still had my 2014 Honda Accord.
Yeah, I remember
He bought it's actually, one of the pictures is right there at Pocono Raceway.
You were running that?
That was the first car that I ran when we first started out tracking our cars. So we just kind of looked at each other like, how do we get into this? Like we've always talked about SCCA and looked into that. And when you go on SCCA's website, or great club to race with, it's very confusing on how to sign up for an event when you go on there. So,
is that the wall up there?
Oh, what?
Can you go back up, Adrian? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Is that the Wall racetrack?
Yeah, Wall Speed, New Jersey. That was for the FD events that we used to go to.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I've been to a few of those. I was there for the FD events.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we used to, me and the other friend group that we have, we used to always go up there. We used to make it like a thing with each other,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, was that Club Loose?
Nah, I never been to Club Loose. It was
okay.
only ever at Wall Speed.
Oh, okay.
Always wanted to go to Club Loose, but never been there. There it is right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, kind of after my buddy Josh bought that Type R, like we just kind of started like trying to figure it out. Like I said, SCCA is a little difficult to figure out how to sign up for an event on their website. So I think he found N.A.S.A Northeast, is who we run with.
Hey,
great club.
Yeah,
great group of people. Yeah. Everybody there that races their cars, like, dude, everybody's so helpful. Everybody's like into it, like they're all a bunch of car nerds.
I've got some friends that race in N.A.S.A too.
Yeah, and it's a really close knit family, like they always like to call it, which is really cool. So we just signed up for that event right there back in September 15, 2019, and we just ran what we got, the Acorn. I used to call it the Acorn. I actually took that from Dave Haggard because he called his Accord the Acorn. So after he sold that, I was like, "It's mine now, sucker!" My Acorn. And I got the plate for it and everything too. The Acorn plate and stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, it was lowered on BCs. We took it out. I had all season tires. But it was a manual trans, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's funny, you laugh at the all season tires, but it's like those things they taught you how to drive.
Oh yeah.
So my instructor was like, listen to those tires.
Yeah.
Great instructor too. I think his name was Mark something, but he's a real cool guy. Drove a 350Z. And he was like, listen to those tires. He's like, the more they squeal, the more you should open up the wheel. Like, don't turn in as much, like loosen it up a little bit. So that's what I did. And they'd start to screech a little bit less, and then the car started going faster. Yeah. So it's like, you start learning stuff like that. And like, so, it's really cool to learn like different techniques of racing and everything like that.
You doing
like
left foot braking?
No, no, not really too much yet. But yeah, that's kind of how we got into it. We just kind of started from there, and he got the Type R rolling. That thing is a beast.
That's a track weapon from the factory.
It literally is the track weapon from the factory. I've yet to see anything beat it from factory, obviously, besides like your Corvette or anything.
I don't know. Even I saw that video of you blowing past some Corvettes.
In the M3, I definitely give it to some Corvettes. That's for sure.
No, it was in the M3.
Yeah, in the M3.
You're still figuring out the Honda.
Yeah, the Honda I give nobody. I pass nobody. Everybody passes me. So especially in my run group, the higher classes with all the faster cars. But yeah, so we just kind of signed up for N.A.S.A one day. It was like $300 some odd, $200 some odd dollars at the time, whatever. That was the first event, Pocono. We did what was it? A South course. It was called Southeast course or something like that. Yeah, so it's basically. It's basically the first turn of NASCAR 1, and what was it? Then it turns into the infield, so it's not too bad. Yeah, so it would be, I believe it's kind of like that one right there. You would do NASCAR, or no, that would be NASCAR 1 over here. So then you turn right into there, and then we came back through here, or no, what is that? I think it was this hairpin. And we came back through here and down through here and back on the NASCAR 1. So that was, I believe,
Cool.
Yeah, so that was the first time we ever did that. So that was a lot of fun, especially being on, you know, that NASCAR 1 turn. You know what I mean? It's like,
that's so sick.
Yeah, that
dude.
bank was crazy. You know what I mean? And that was actually, that and Impact were the last time we've actually run that course. So, I mean, I've been really kind of itching to get back there. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we signed up with N.A.S.A. I think we went there like on a Saturday. We did the 1-day event. And we were pretty much hooked from there on out, you know what I mean? So, and then I bought the M3. We did the Impact Festival next. It's funny if you can actually find it on Instagram on my buddy Josh's page. We had the entire rear end of the M3 ripped out 2 weeks. It's Jay Blued or whatever.
Didn't he have a Prelude?
Yeah, he's part of the old Prelude days back in the day. You can see it bottom left right there, the M3. Whole rear end of that thing, the weld in, the reinforcements.
Oh yeah,
and stuff.
I know
Did
you're talking
you ever
about.
have the cracked subframe issue?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it was cracked when we tore it all apart, or maybe it was just starting to.
But
it might have been.
You're there to prevent it.
Yeah, because I was
anybody
like,
who's got an M3, like a
you know
02,
it, you
03,
know how
they're
it goes.
pulling it out.
Exactly. So I think there might have been like 1 or 2 very small cracks.
Hairline cracks started.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, we had that entire rear end ripped out 2 weeks prior. Found a whole bunch of broken parts. The lower rear control arms were literally cracked where the springs sat.
Oh.
Yeah, we were like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I ended up spending like $3,000 just to get it like ready. New shocks, new control arms, new bushings, new this,
dude,
new that.
these are the trials and tribulations of like tracking a car.
Oh, I just did the same thing to get, well, because I thought I was going to race that thing again. So I
Yeah.
spent $1,400 on tires, something else. And then it was like,
How long do those last?
so I ran Hankook RS4s first. It's first ever track 200 treadwear I've ever ran. Those things wore like iron. From that event right there at Impact, which was 2020, August 10th, up until maybe last season, March 2023, I had the RS4s on.
And
Pretty much
how
the
many
same set.
events?
So we're talking probably 10 plus.
Wow,
Events.
That's really good for it.
And I kept them square, rotated the shit out of them. And when they started really getting down in the nitty gritty, one of the instructors at the track was like, you know, you can go against the grain with those. Like, you know how they're rotational? He's like, that's just kind of for wet, for rain. He's like, go against the grain. So my buddy did that on his Type R, instantly got the grip back.
Whoa.
So it was just like,
So life hack.
yeah, it was like life hack on some racing tires, go against the grain because the rotational is just for wet stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, you're good on the dry. You know what I mean? Go against the grain. It was like a whole new tire. So we rotated the shit out of these tires.
Yeah.
They've been
So-
upside down, inside out, left ways,
We've
right ways.
taken them off. We flipped them inside out on some of them. Like, I did everything I possibly could to just try to make them last because they're expensive tires. They were like $1,200 for a set, you know?
Yeah.
But they last. They wore like iron and stuff like that. So now I got Falcon RT 660s, which are like, that's like the tire now.
Yeah.
So we'll see how long they last. So
Yeah.
once the car started to develop a rattle, and I was like, what the hell is that? Thought it was a tensioner. Did a little bit of research. It's the bolts backing out of the cam gear.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, I'm like,
Jesus.
the car's just going to sit for right now until I can get the...
Actually, you know what that I've definitely heard of that.
Yeah.
that's a common
It's a
problem.
common thing.
Yeah,
It's behind the Vanos hubs and everything like that.
M52?
Yeah, pretty much like any M54 whatever motor, stuff like that. So yeah, but the S54s,
I'm
it's
just
like,
saying, Honda figured out variable cam lift.
oh yeah, 100%.
And they don't seem to have these issues.
Nah, it's as great as this car
if you
is.
could find a way to like retrofit VTEC onto a BMW engine.
Oh yeah, right. Well, that's what the Vanos is.
That's what Vanos is.
Honda VTEC.
Oh well,
Specifically.
yeah, Honda VT,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Everybody's got their different stuff, But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, as much as I love my M3, it's the greatest car in the world. Don't get me wrong. God, it has so many Achilles heels. You know what I mean?
Look, there's a lot you can
for
say
sure.
about German engineering. you cannot claim reliability.
Yeah.
Well, I'll claim the reliability on this car because let's be honest, 4 years of racing,
All right.
and I've driven it to and from the racetrack.
We'll
raced
revisit this
it.
3 years after you've started racing the Honda.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
no, but I agree. I agree with what you're saying. So like I know that like the German engineering gets like a bad rap.
No,
but these cars like for BMWs specifically,
Yeah.
I feel like they've almost like they've pulled out of that. Like
Yeah.
like every car
Yeah.
has their issues, right?
Yeah.
I mean some that are more effective, major than others.
Mm-hmm.
But like as far as these cars like being able to handle power, to be able to handle abuse,
Oh yeah.
like they're good to go. I mean,
100%.
the only there's a few Achilles heels that they just know that what everybody already knows about. So like the cooling systems for these cars for sure, you have to like redo it all, at least like replace everything up to standard or like just upgrade.
Exactly.
And then like the rear subframes like you were just talking about.
Yeah, rod bearings and stuff.
Yeah, and then definitely rod bearings depending
absolutely.
on the mileage of the engine.
Perfectly reliable. You just have to rebuild everything.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
No, dude.
it's reliable to a point. Yes,
What car can you say that you can run that hard? Like and that many of them that don't have those same issues. Like I mean, so like, as far as like an issue is that like a sporadic issue, like you would just have like some like random one-off issue. Like those, generally speaking, don't happen to those cars.
Correct.
Where like they just have like they need their water pumps aren't the best off the factory. So like if you replace them, you bought that time.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you upgrade them and if you upgrade the radiators and all the other stuff, like good to go. Reinforce the subframes, replace all the bushings, good to go.
Exactly.
It's just like these like little things that like they did, like you said, had like these Achilles heels, and dude, they turned into monsters.
It's just how
and
it
especially
goes.
with the amount of power that they have and everything else, and like the little Guibo, the little
Yeah,
drive shaft.
Oh, by the way, I have a Guibo for the P24 that I can give you.
All right,
Yeah.
my man. I'm already collecting parts for it.
Yeah.
But that's you said it yourself with the power. And that's what I try to remember with people with this car. It's like it's a factory built race car.
Yeah.
And more or less, it's a factory built race car. Like it's an inline 6 that's 3.2 liters.
Yeah.
Like
This is
you can't
wild.
do much to that motor. Like the motor is more or less. I mean, you can stroke it, you can pour it out the head, stuff like that. But that's like you got to do
Turbo.
serious machine
Bolt-ons
work.
aren't going to do much for it.
Then that's what I'm saying. There's not like it's maxed out where it's at until you start boring it out, stroking it out, stuff like that.
And you're
you
gonna
know
find
what I
rod
mean?
bearings at like what, like 150,
And that's kind of you see them anywhere. I've seen them bad from 30,000 miles on a motor to 160,000.
Yeah.
And like I said, that thing is no trailer queen. Like it's been used and abused. I am the third owner of the car. It's on its second motor.
Well, look, this car has its faults, but like you said, it's a factory race car. What's the excuse for other German cars that are pedestrian versions that just fall the fuck apart as soon as the warranty expires?
Well,
No,
Why does my BMW
We're not
need
here to
two-
excuse those.
Why does my BMW need two blower motors?
But see,
One for heat, one for AC, and then like 3 different control devices on that one circuit.
oh yeah, well I'll agree with that. It's more or less asinine, but it's like it kind of when it breaks, it's shit. But it's like that is almost a design to almost never break, even though it does break. You know what I mean?
But also, like, you don't
broken
see those
everywhere.
cars on the road today for a reason. You see a lot of E36s, you see a lot of E46s,
Yeah.
and then on like those E36 and E46 still stay on the road because they were in this beautiful little honey hole of like technology and getting to that oversimplification of like parts and stuff.
Yeah.
Where like you could be a normal mechanic and still work on those cars.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
And then like all the years going past it, like the experience level has to kind of like step up. You know, the computers.
And
all
that's
that.
why
That's also every car.
Yeah,
They're
for
gonna
sure.
be
Exactly.
But like
But, like,
specifically BMW.
if we go back to
so,
what I
but, like,
said-
but your old BMW, yes, would like they were in that point of being that like, hey, we have no technology.
No,
and
that
we need
car
to, like,
was
make everything
engineering
really
for
complicated.
engineering's sake.
Oh yeah.
It didn't even accomplish anything better.
Yeah,
You can't tell me that
because-
having two separate blower motors made the blower system work better.
Yeah, no,
No,
it didn't.
of course.
They
But
didn't have anything
The
else.
point that I'm trying to make, or that I was trying to make, if you go back to what I said, was German engineering, not BMW engineering.
Oh yeah, no, German engineering in general.
So the German car industry as a whole,
yeah.
like if you're
let's not
meticulous,
penalize the group. Come on, man.
Well, no, because
Look,
I
we're
agree.
BMW fans here. Hang
I
on,
know.
man.
Well, no, I
I own
agree.
one,
With
all
I
right?
agree what he says.
I don't. It
German
feels like you're not a fan.
engineer-
You're trying to
because-
sell it to Buckley.
I feel this fucking guy. Well, no, because I feel like you're definitely right. But BMW, in my opinion, definitely does it better than Mercedes.
BMW's the best of the major German brands.
Exactly. So
It
you always
is.
agree with that. You know
Like,
what I mean?
In my personal ordering of like
Yeah.
the cars that I would like own myself, it goes
Yeah.
BMW, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Audi group,
100%.
all the way over there,
And
all the way over there.
there's a huge gap between BMW and Mercedes, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because it's going to take me a little while to get onto Mercedes. I've worked on a few of them; they're cool, but I ain't no BMW.
No,
You know what I
BMW
mean?
and Mercedes, in my experience working on them, it's a 50-50 shot. Of
Yeah.
It's going to be the most insane, overly German, overly
100%.
complicated bullshit,
100%.
or the easiest thing you've ever done. I have
Exactly.
swapped control arms on a BMW.
Yeah.
I forget exactly which one, without even taking the wheels off.
100. Yeah, exactly. You can do that. You know,
I replaced the airbag on a Mercedes, and it took me like
Yeah.
20 minutes.
it's just like how like a newer Mercedes has like 2 car batteries. It's like they have their normal 12-volt battery, and it's like, hey, we got a little motorcycle battery underneath the dash too that you also have to replace. It's like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you've got Volkswagen.
Yeah, Volkswagen, Audi should be
badges.
out of that topic as well.
The
Where it's like
badges.
I'm so good.
It's
I'm
so
so
good.
I am
good.
so good on
I'm so good
Volkswagen.
on all that.
And it's
Yeah.
like it's funny too because like you speak about the Vag cars and it's like, yeah, well that also pertains to Lambo too.
yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like we get the Lambos at Nissan and stuff like that. And
What
it's
a
like,
sentence.
I know. It's like when I post on my stories, it's like I swear to God I work for Nissan. And it's like you see a Vet or you see an R8 or a Lambo or a Ferrari, and it's like I swear to God I do. You know what I mean? But
Here's
yeah,
a GTR to prove it.
exactly. And that's why we get all the cool, crazy things because the owner has all of his friends, and then people trade in all the crazy cars for the GTRs. But you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, we got the Lambo, and the one Lambo I worked on one time, it was like you take off the rear wheels and you look at all the suspension, it's all Audi logos on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what I mean? It's just as shit as all the other ones. you
Yeah,
know?
dude. Exactly.
My favorite example of like Volkswagen's just on their bullshit, and I know both of you have seen these. The old Volkswagen Passats with the 1.8T.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Change the oil on that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You're either removing the coolant reservoir, which why the hell is that even an option?
Oh yeah, you're removing the
Or
coolant
you're
reservoir.
dislocating your elbow to get it from the bottom and
Yeah,
shoulder.
no. Every single time I'm removing the coolant reservoir.
Yeah, I remember I
Fuck that
bitched at
thing.
you, bitched to you about it, and you're like, "Oh, dude, pull the coolant reservoir." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why do I need to do that?"
Exactly.
And then I did it,
Yeah.
and it was so much easier.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, why? Because they're waiting. They fucking pull it.
exactly.
Fucking pull
Oh,
it. Fucking
man.
get it out of there.
But it's funny that I was like, I'll always, you know, because you know me, I worked for Honda for so long, and I appreciate what their engineering and everything like that. You know me, back at ATC, I wasn't that Honda guy.
no,
you
I was
know what
gonna
mean?
say, I remember you giving me shit for having Hondas.
Exactly, I was that typical stereotypical guy. I was like, oh, look at
I
this
got a big
fucking-
Dodge Ram,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
got a
Oh, look
Honda.
at me, you know, I'm American, yeah. But come to appreciate working for, especially having, you know, one of my best friends / brothers being Mr. Honda himself, Josh. Like,
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't good enough to.
no, you weren't, you asshole. You know what I mean? But no, it's like he's on a whole other level. He is Mr. Honda, in my opinion, just like you are. You know, it's like, it's incredible. And it's like just working for the company opened up my eyes. But it's like I always compare BMW to Honda.
Yeah.
For the German manufacturer that they are, it's like they does seem like they actually have more or less a good head on their shoulders,
Yeah.
you know,
Not
like
lately.
it's, I will let everybody know though, like from like 08 and on, like 2014 and on, is where I stopped my love for BMWs.
Yeah.
For the most part, obviously.
I call it 2005.
Exactly. You know what I mean? The only reason why I say
that's when I fell
14 is because that's when they
got
went
super
off
cool.
the deep end, and that's when they brought in the M4s to compete with Audi.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to bring in all the
Yep.
series numbers. You know,
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yep.
6, 7, 8. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
The
Like,
M4 will always just be a two-door M3 to me.
Exactly.
And that was the original M3. They should have made the sedan the M4.
well, that's what I'm saying. The sedan is the M3, the coupe is the
should've been
M4,
the
the
other way
M
around.
like the M2 is kind of where I was starting to draw the line. The 1M and the M2 and stuff like that. Like those were cool because it's like
Well, the M2 is a
M2 is-
spiritual like
M2 is
successor
the
to
shit.
the E30.
you can't exactly, and that's why I said you
Yeah.
can't really knock an M2 because it's like,
Dude.
brother, you put an M3
Dude.
motor in a smaller body,
Dude.
you're speaking
And
my
then,
language.
so everybody slept on the M2s in like 2010, like when they like I think it's when they first came out, like somewhere around there. But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but everybody was like all about the M1. They were like
Exactly.
the M1s were the coolest thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why are people buying? I mean, like they're cool,
Yeah.
but they're just like kind of squatty, like little like.
Well, the 1M is
Yeah, it was
there's
the
only
1M.
1,000 of them in
Yeah.
America, so that's why they're really nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's something special,
yeah.
but it's really just it's a 335.
Yeah, but I'm
335i.
just saying, like you threw me the keys, and you were like, "Look, there's an M1,
Yeah.
and there's an M2.
Yeah.
M2
Drive
gang.
home in any one you want." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'll take the M2 with no hesitation."
Oh, 100%.
They're way cooler. I mean, like
Yeah.
from the beginning, they just the body style. They have like more of like a flat, squatty look, where like the M2s kind of have this, or the M1 has this like squished kind of tall look.
Exactly.
And like I don't know, I didn't get it, and it wasn't until like they came out with the M2 comp that people were like, "Yo, these are actually kind of cool." And I was like,
people actually started giving them respect.
yeah,
you
and
know?
I was like, dude, people were kind of giving me shit to be like, dude, you like the M2? No one
Yeah,
likes the M2. And I
exactly.
was like,
It's better proportion.
bro,
100%. Yeah, you look
dude,
up
it's a far better proportion.
right
It's
there.
so
Especially
sick,
the older one.
the 2014 to 2016 is the one that we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yo,
I saw,
you know, the newer one's kind of
the guy-
weird looking.
Oh, no.
yeah, a little goofy, a little
Yeah,
goofy. It's
a
just
little
odd
goofy.
proportions.
But people love 'em.
It's
People
it's
do.
strangely
Yeah,
boxy
they
in the
love
front
new
end.
shit.
Exactly.
People love new shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people love the new M3 and M4 with the giant nostril grills.
Yeah, no, I don't
It's
like
the
it at
it's
all.
dude, it's the taillights for me.
Well,
I just saw
speaking
one
of
on the road
these-
on the way here, and actually, I was just like, yeah, nope.
But you
can't
see
do it.
you see these taillights, how they're like oddly small and egg shaped.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
it's the
on
taillights for me.
the new M2. I saw a guy who on
Fixed 'em?
Instagram. He I think he does like body kits and whatnot. So he has like automotive design experience. He took tape and just
Yeah, I saw
You
that.
saw
I
that?
saw that. Yeah,
How
I saw
much of a
that.
difference that
he
made?
I saw that, and he fixed the whole rear end. He basically put tape onto the trunk area and like evened
just
out
brought
the
this
rear
out.
lights.
just
and
brought it out.
just brought it out. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's like, hey,
holy
And dude,
shit!
my favorite comment was like, BMW, what the hell are you doing? This guy just fixed your entire car with $5 worth of tape.
Entire, and he basically do the same. It, like, cause somebody did the same thing with the front end where they changed like the bumper on the new one, and like made it more or less like
It's
kind of
just
the old
strangely
one.
boxy, you know.
look at
It
the
is.
look at the 2010. Just put in 2010.
2010, I
older.
think, would be the 1M. So the newer,
Or like
Just the older
M2.
one.
like I
That's this
said,
one right here.
yeah, that one would be
That
like
doesn't look like the oldest one.
that would
though.
be 14 to 16. I think.
All right. Well, then try 14.
That one, yeah.
Hang on.
Just put in 14. Yeah.
I tried to know as much as I do.
Yeah. No, I know. And I was just talking.
Sorry if I'm being that way.
No, dude. No, it's perfect. That's
2014.
me.
Oh, yeah,
That's
so
what I
that was,
love is that like I love being like geeky about cars,
Yeah,
and I love it.
exactly.
And honestly, like ever since I like, sold all of my stuff, like I've just fell out of it. Like
Oh,
I just
yeah, it
don't
just
get
happens,
it. Like I
dude.
just
It
I just fell
happens.
out, and
It happens.
and it's like super disappointing. And I was talking to Joel, who's another one of our friends that we grew up with, and he's super into BMWs and just all cars. But
Oh, yeah.
but he was like talking about all kinds of stuff, and I was like, damn. And I'm like realizing how far behind I am on shit. I'm
Yeah.
and so like it was cool. Just let him like talk and like
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
learn and whatever. But I was
Yep,
like,
yep,
at the same time, I'm like, fuck, I'm lame.
Oh,
Damn
man,
it!
God.
Oh, damn it! I'm lame.
Nah, dude.
Like,
you know, you'll get back
Yeah,
into it
there's your
eventually.
older
You know,
one right there.
Yeah,
it's just how it goes.
yeah.
with
Like
life,
the
though.
older taillights were way better.
Oh
I can
yeah,
find
man.
a back picture of the
Right there.
Right there, dude.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, see, that's like the 2019, I think.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
That's
it's all.
it.
It's all
It's
more or
pretty
less
much-
the same.
the white one looks
that
pretty
yellow
close.
one right there. It's all the same.
Yeah.
They didn't
But
really
that like
change
the
too
yellow one
much.
was perfect. Like the yellow
Yeah.
one was like that was like the most balanced
got
of a
that.
car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, no, it was a good formula. You know what I mean? Like the M cars are definitely still where it's at. Obviously, like people compare a lot of the new like B58s, like that motor, to the M cars because you can get them in the number M's. You know, like the M240, 340, whatever it is. Which, in my opinion, I will say it now, aren't M cars.
So you don't like the XM?
That's not an M car. It's not an M car.
Bro,
It's a selling point.
Did you see the release thing for this?
Yeah.
The lead designer's like implying this is a spiritual successor to the M1.
Yeah.
the fuck
Nah,
outta here.
dude. Yeah, he's way off his rocker. The M, like, who was it? I think maybe Mike of Stanceworks or whatever. He put out a video of like the BMW and like what it means to him because he's a huge BMW
I think
guy.
I've seen that video.
Yeah,
actually.
and it's like it actually, if you're like as big as I am on the BMWs, like it actually hits you.
It
hard.
hurts. No,
it hurts
it
because
hurts.
it's like it's so true
trying to
what he
pull
has
that
to
out.
say. You know what I mean? So like,
I think I know who you're talking about, Mike Stanceworks.
Yeah, Mike Stanceworks. Yeah.
Is he the one who
he
has
was-
the K24 Ferrari?
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
not
that guy.
not just a
Yeah.
Ferrari.
Yeah, not just a
Not
Ferrari.
just a
Yeah,
Ferrari.
Exactly. Yeah, no, he's the
He
one.
has like the Ferrari.
Exactly. Yeah, the 348 or whatever, or three whatever it is.
355,
Yeah,
Testarossa,
yeah,
I
that's what
think.
it is. Yeah. Completely redid it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
he's
guy,
a BM. He's
and
a
he worked with
BMW
another guy
Yeah,
too.
this video right here, BMW, please make cars like this again.
I
Yeah.
think that's
That
what it is. Yeah, a year ago. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, so here it is. Shout out to Mike Stanceworks.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I think he was working
And a
with
disgrace
somebody
letter
else.
to the letter M. Who asked for this and who okayed it? What the fuck is BMW even doing?
Exactly. Like,
Preach.
He gets it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the one video, like it hit me pretty hard. Like, I think that's actually the disgrace to the M. I think that's what the video I watched that because
Yeah, I think
remember
I've watched
seeing
this
that.
one and this one.
Yeah.
I've watched both
yeah.
of those.
Exactly. So
Well,
it's
let's
just like.
play it.
Which one?
I don't know.
I'm angry. I'm fired up. Let's watch this.
Fired up, dude. Let's get fired up. You just keep the audio just kind of quiet and we'll just watch this.
You got 20
Yeah, that's
minutes?
Mike's.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, just keep it on in the background. Just wait something to fucking.
Just have some nice background.
Yeah, some little background stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, who did Mike Stanceworks used to? He was like in a business with someone else, and then they split up. And
I think he got his. I think he did a lot of like journalism to start out with, like back in the stance
Wasn't he
world.
just a photographer?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like that. Like he wrote up some
I
really
thought he had a
dope.
shop with somebody.
Well, he has a huge shop. Yeah, of course. I don't know if it was with somebody else, but I think he got to start like doing like back in the stance
You
world,
find his
back in
Instagram?
that game. I think he did a lot of cool ass articles and stuff like that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely did articles. I remember reading some of them.
Yeah. He's cool. He actually, dude, one of
But
the
that's
guys.
most in car enthusiasts too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, a lot of car enthusiasts just get started just like writing, and like that's like back in the day.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
It feels like a long time
Mike
ago, but like
Burroughs is his
like
actual
journalism,
name. Just calling him Mike Stanceworks.
like that's how a lot of people like the hunting community, like there's like every car. I mean, how many like articles have we read? I mean,
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
read too many, but Adrian
I
definitely.
used to
did.
buy like
100%.
But
magazines
like we
constantly.
would just read articles of magazines.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, and like Adrian, he gives credit to like his writing skills
Yeah.
in school for just reading all of these car magazines and kind of
100%.
using the language that they were
Well, yeah,
using,
you
the
had,
way,
like,
the imagery.
when
Yeah,
you write
know?
for a car like review article or anything, it's easy to just make a list of bullet points of like the objective things. But when it comes to the subjective part of that vehicle, like how it drives, how it
and
makes
make you feel like you're standing in front of it,
That
or
takes
like
talent.
you're in the seat.
Yeah, exactly.
driving
You
it.
have to
That's
let 'em
so
know.
crazy.
like
have to
good
let 'em know.
automotive journalists are some of the best writers. Like
Yeah.
just out and
Oh,
about.
yeah,
if
for
you ask
sure.
me.
But so right around here, yeah. So Mike Stanceworks did
Yeah,
that.
he's
thing,
got that,
but he
yeah.
did that at a shop with
Yep.
somebody else. There's a video he put up right before he buys that yellow Ferrari. Which again, let's just like, can you just click on one? I just want to see like what the hashtags are because we got to figure out what exactly that thing is.
Nothing.
308.
A 308.
Yeah,
That's what it
308,
is.
What car it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to. We were trying to figure out
Should
what
I get
Ferrari
a 308
it was.
kit for my Fiero?
100%.
That's
Kidding
right.
Me, dude?
Yeah. There's
Kidding
a
me?
308
Yeah, the little kit car
for-
Fieras.
Well,
Hell
you
yeah.
could, for a very short time, you could buy them from the dealer with that. It was called the Mera kit,
Ooh.
MERA,
Okay.
and then Ferrari sued them.
Let's go. Of course, in
But
Ferrari
bro,
fashion.
like as far as kit cars go, the Pontiac Fiero Mera.
But
Yep.
yeah, wait. So he. Let's.
He did
Oh,
focus.
Rusty Slamington. Is that what that
Rusty
one?
Slamington.
Yeah. So he did that as well.
Yep. Yeah, that was the crazy 5 Series BMW.
So, I mean, not.
E28.
Yeah. So he did some wild stuff.
Yeah.
This is how I found out about
Yep.
him with that old.
Yep.
It's the 6 Series, right?
5 Series.
5
yeah.
Series.
Yeah, 5
Yeah.
Series. Yeah. Yeah, an E28.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have used a 6 Series, but he wanted to make a 5 Series.
Yeah, well, because the 5 Series is a 4-door, so he made it into a
Yeah.
2-door, which
Yeah.
is wild.
Wild.
Because the E28, in my personal opinion, is one of the best
It's
5
the
Series.
BMW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The 5 Series I have for sure.
But yeah,
you
this
know?
thing came out so.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh. This
Yeah.
one's got all 4 doors. Is this like a render or something?
No, it might just be a later version. He
Earlier
may, he
version.
may, or yeah,
you can't really
earlier
grow the
version.
doors back after you cut them out.
Nah, that's not what I meant. But yeah, if you just keep going, there was a video that like because I remember like following him, and there was a video where he talked about him separating from the guy that he was building all these cars with, and they both like, oh, right there,
Oh, yeah, there you go.
there you
Yeah,
go, Proto Machine, that's what it was.
Okay,
dude.
okay. There you go. I did not know that.
Dude, and they're both like still super successful. They just kind of had different dreams.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
They wanted to go different places, and
Yeah.
they kind of just couldn't do it together.
Yeah, it just
so it was
happens.
super cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike Stansbury, he definitely gets it as a BMW lover.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
Definitely.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's like I said, that video is kind of like how I stand on BMWs.
Do you know why
what I mean?
BMWs look the way they do now?
Because of the damn guy that's shaping them.
No, there's a
Actually,
there's
yes.
a really simple answer though. And
It's
other than
because
that,
someone made them that way.
They want to make money, dude.
it's China.
Well, yeah. Everybody's trying to make sure that they don't overcome the auto market with what they have.
No, it's not
popping
even
out.
that.
You know.
China has the biggest car market.
Well, that's what
They're
I'm saying.
dictating what cars look like.
Yeah, that's what I'm
and
saying.
they like that.
Exactly. Yeah, they want to make sure that they don't.
This is-
over outdo us, and everybody else.
This is going to potentially get me
Wait,
canceled.
doesn't China just copy everything we do?
No. China's population is making enough money, like personally now,
Yeah.
that they can buy nicer things. That's why they
brag.
are the biggest car market right now. You want to sell in China.
Yeah.
China's the only reason Buick's still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
For some
'cause
reason,
they're
they're
the
like-
only ones that buy our shit.
Anyway.
No, I know exactly what you're talking
But
about, though.
something that I've kind of noticed is whenever a country, city, culture, whatever, comes into wealth relatively newly, they do what we all did when we first got like video games with like Need for Speed.
Yeah.
All out gaudy everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have wealth, you're flaunting every
Yep,
bit of it.
Yep. They
It
love
takes a
that shit.
while for like the culture to adjust and then
Yeah.
kind of go back into that refined aesthetic.
Yeah. It's like every car looks
China
like a
hasn't been rich
bazooka.
very long. The people, I should say, the people of China haven't been rich very long.
Yeah, exactly.
So this BMW is a status symbol. They want it to be ostentatious. So
It's
shit
just
like that sells good in China. So we all get to suffer for it.
It's just like how Americans are with our SUVs.
Yeah.
Now everything's got to be an SUV.
Yeah, I mean we're
Yeah.
just as guilty of like
Oh,
influencing
100%.
it, and if other countries don't like our taste, then they're saying the same thing I am.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that China is the reason that BMWs look the way they do right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if you're angry about it,
then blame them.
ugly BMWs,
Yeah.
COVID, killer bees,
Dude, those things were real,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's just unfortunate how they're turning out to be now.
yeah,
you
and
know what I
also
mean?
like you notice BMW dropped the ultimate driving machine tagline.
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't care about that.
No, and that's what I mean. It's
And again,
you know,
I would put that in like China. In China, like you have a nice car, you're chauffeured. They don't care about driving dynamics. Long wheelbase cars are very popular.
yeah,
extended
exactly.
wheelbase cars.
Yep. And that's
So-
why I say, I stopped really like BMW after like 2010.
Well, you lasted
14.
longer than me. I gave up after the E46.
Exactly. A lot of people have, and that's what I tell people. Like, you know, they're like, "Oh, you know BMWs, you could fix this." I'm like, "What year is it?" It's 2020. I'm like, "Leave me alone."
I mean, I might be able to fix it, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Working
of course
on
I can
E46
fix
is
it.
going to be frustrating at times, but
Exactly.
I like that car.
But you know what I mean? I love that car. You know, so
Yeah.
it's just how it goes. You know, but.
Yeah, if your BMW has iDrive, just lose my number.
Exactly. if it starts getting into that electronic shit, leave me alone because
I'm
it all
out.
sucks.
I'm
It all
out.
sucks.
Yeah.
But no, it's still a good car to race though. I will say that much. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
yeah, technically speaking, new BMWs are great. You know, the
Oh, yeah.
Z4, I like the Z4 better than the Supra.
yeah, of course, I do. Like I can get down with a Z4, especially the older ones. You know what I mean? When they first came out with the 3.5 turbo, the M54, and everything like that. You know, all that good stuff. I still like those.
I've seen the Supra in person, and it hasn't grown on me. I still don't like them at all.
I've driven one. They're cool. You know what I mean? They're definitely cool. They handle. They're all out there with me on the
yeah,
track. You
sure.
know what I
They're,
mean?
you know,
So
Technically impressive and
yeah.
very capable.
100%. Yeah.
I think it looks like lumpy shapes.
Yeah, it's definitely not the old one. You know,
No.
it's definitely not a big old whale. You
Yeah.
know?
Curvaceous,
Yeah,
sumptuous.
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I kind of don't think the Supra really had much of a reputation for being like a handling car.
No.
Could it?
Not really. Like
Yeah.
you'll see it on what's that? The DK show, Good Motoring or whatever. You'll see it and like you'll hear them like talk about it, like how big it is and how like
It was a
much
grand
of
tour.
monster. Yeah, exactly.
That's
Like,
what it was. It
well,
was
it's
meant
a
to go
big-
fast and go fast comfortably.
Yeah.
Speaking of Grand Tour, can you look up the Patina Racing? Remember that thing I sent you with the Dodge Stratus? That was Patina Racing.
Oh yeah,
I
That's
think
on
I think
Instagram,
you
right?
might be a
Yeah.
You might actually it might have been from you.
Might have been from me.
It might have been from you. Which, by the way, if-
Patina
if-
Motorsports or whatever.
Yes,
yeah,
Patina
that's it.
Motorsports. Yeah. So by the
or
way,
research,
yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy. Yeah, that
research.
dude. He's the shit, dude.
Yeah.
He posts all the great videos, man. All the old school
Dodge
racing
Stratus
videos.
racing.
Yeah.
Everything you can possibly think of, like this dude's posting it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I mean, obviously we're gonna post all of your social media on this, but if you're not already following this dude and you love cars, you have the best feed for cars. Like
dude.
all of like the stuff that you just post out of just genuine like enthusiasm
Yeah.
for like the stuff. I mean, like you post so much good stuff for cars. I love it. It brings me ear to ear when I find stuff, and it's like little things. It's like it's nothing like crazy, but like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing the feed and just like seeing a nice car, just like
Yeah.
one done well. And
Oh,
just
Is this
yeah.
American DTM racing?
More or less, yeah. That's kind of what they
Yeah.
kind of. It's NATCC or
Why
whatever it is.
why couldn't Dodge release like an SRT version of the Stratus that had like this shit?
Oh man, because you didn't need to when you had something like that. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's just dominated with what we have.
Yeah,
You know?
but I feel like what made me think of this was that the same thing with the Supra. Like I never like thought of the Supra as being like a handling car. It was just this like it seemed like it was made for this like straight line being fast kind
Yeah,
of.
it was a
just
grand
sports
sports car, and when they
Yeah.
got
So
hopped
when
up,
it-
they were drag monsters,
Exactly.
not track cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like there was lots of times where like people, would spend, some sponsorship would just like put a wide body kit on it. I think it was Castrol at the time.
Yeah,
it was like that
yeah,
famous
yeah,
one.
yeah, that big
they
old
would
wheel.
like literally
Yep.
gauged out and like they made it. I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm sure was a monster.
Oh, yeah,
right. Like
100%.
after like thousands of dollars. went
exactly.
into it, and
Wired it up, put giant tires on it, arrow.
like
yeah.
you made it. You made it
Mhm.
awesome.
You made it what it was.
Yeah.
You know,
Like,
yeah.
and just how like these guys, all these sponsors made these Dodge Stratuses, which
Yeah,
were like
dude.
where people like moms were taking
Yup.
kids, like their 5-year-olds to school in.
exactly.
But they made them monsters.
Oh, yeah,
and you
yeah.
hear these things just banging along.
It's
like,
so cool. You
yeah,
know,
it's so
and that's
sick.
what that, it's like you said earlier, like what got me into racing. It's like this.
Yeah,
This. You
It's
see
these-
this?
It's
It's
these
like
things.
And
Yeah.
honestly, like that's why all three of us are easily classified as car enthusiasts,
absolutely.
but we're not sitting here drooling over the Lamborghinis
No.
and the Ferrari.
I mean, I still do. Don't
They're
get me
nice.
wong.
Yeah.
they're
but,
nice.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
still
not gonna
take
sit
my
there and go, that's a
93
piece of
SI.
shit Ferrari. That's below me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's just like what Keith said. You'll see it on my feed. It's like when the boss man brings in the Ferrari 488
Oh, yeah.
GTB. It's just like I'm sorry, but you can't help not to drool over. It's still because like how you.
So let me retract my statement. I'm not.
No. I know. I'm not
after
knocking
one
what you're
trying
saying.
to, like,
grab
one.
Yeah. No.
I
I know.
Own one. Honestly,
Exactly.
I really don't.
Because it's every time, like I said, every time it brings it in, you drool over it. But I'm always that guy. Like, when are we gonna race it? When are we gonna track it? You know, it's like, yo, I do this track day, this event, bring it out. You know what I mean? Let's see how this thing performs.
We go to like video games like Forza, where the possibilities are endless. You want to race a Ferrari? You can drive it harder than you ever would.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm over here building a 1990 Mercedes.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got my
it's
CRX
different.
over here. It's dialed the hell in.
Exactly. Yeah.
And punching above its weight class.
Yeah.
But I'm not up in like S class.
No.
With like a built supercar or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I want a road car. I want to take something that I have to wrestle around the track.
Exactly.
I want to build around the flaws as best I can.
Yeah.
And then drive around the rest of them.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what Sir Miss was supposed to be. You know, it's not a Ferrari. It's a '93 economy car that you just put some bigger wheels on, and
this thing was made for gas mileage.
Yeah, this thing gets 40 miles to the gallon back in '93. So let's see what it could do on the track.
It's the underdog.
Exactly.
It's the underdog. Dude.
It's also why I wouldn't be opposed to tracking the Buick.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you got to get out there and just see what it's about. You know, that's the biggest thing.
Could you imagine like making that thing wider, like aggressive wide body, meaty tires? Bill off the back.
I was gonna bring that up. We were just talking about like the carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber fenders.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, all that stuff's expensive.
Yep.
But what you could do,
exactly,
is make it wide body.
Yeah, I know.
That would be sick.
I do love seeing the Pandem EG6. Like, I'm not a big fan of those wide bodies at all. But like that Pandem EG6 is like, yo, I would do that. You know what I mean? To really widen out that thing and like really see what we can do with it. You know, for sure. You know.
What do you think about Liberty Walk?
Like I said, once again, not the biggest fans of them. Like I just can't get down with cutting quarters, and it's like, well, how are we supposed to come back from this? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm all about it, dude. I'm the biggest RBW.
RWB
fan.
I can get down with it, but like, I don't want to have to spend $30,000 for a smelly Asian dude to sit
in a second. I brought this up because he has an old school Falcon that I wanted to bring up, but I forgot he also has this thing that's an E36.
Ooh, now we're talking.
That's
brother.
a K24.
Now we're talking, brother. I want to.
Almost doesn't look like it.
He's got a different valve cover. That's a K24.
The new dream that I do have is eventually get another E32 K swap.
Yeah, there we go. The stock valve cover just painted red.
Yeah, there it is.
Now it's a K24.
Now I see it. Now I'm seeing it. Yeah.
But he's got there.
Ooh, see, we can make the Buick that. That would be sick, brother. I'm all for it. You ain't got to convince me. I'm already there.
But you want to talk about like being against cutting corners?
Yeah. No. That's okay. I'll allow
this
that.
is all metal. He welded it.
I can get down with that. Yeah, I can get down with that. No, it's not that I can't get down with it. I'm all for the big fenders. Yeah, it's just not you.
Like if you were gonna do it, you just
you're not gonna catch me really doing that unless it's a complete shitter of a vehicle, and
or unless you have like a million cars and you're like, you know what?
Yeah,
let me try one.
Yeah, if I was like on the Adam LZ tip or something like that, where I got a whole compound, you know, and I'm just doing this, I'm all for it.
Like if I had money,
I'd
have two of each car.
Exactly.
One to keep like pristine, and one to thrash and like do crazy shit.
You already know it, dude. You already know.
An NSX that's making just enough horsepower to do 200 miles an hour like a proper supercar.
Yep.
And then a untouched bone stock, beautiful, pristine example.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've contemplated so many times because like I see the racing M3s and everything like that. Like a couple of people that I follow and know of that I see at the track. It's like you see them and they got the giant over fenders with like 315s in the rear and everything like that, you know. But then I also follow another guy that also was able to fit 315 square with no big over fenders and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, I'm going to go for 305 square one day and be able to fit that, you know, on stock fenders and everything. Maybe a little rolling and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm going to fit it. I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to get there.
What was it you wanted me to look up?
Liberty Walk.
Oh, yeah.
On Instagram or just in general?
Whatever, brother. You know, Liberty Walk is cool. You know,
Yeah, should look at some pictures.
the RWBs, it's kind of hard to get down with sometimes because it's like, man, you cutting up these old Porsches.
Old
you know what I
Porsches,
mean? Because
dude.
now they're really starting to become
Yeah.
some value. It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
No,
now
I
gotta-
get it, dude. He gets so much hate.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
people literally hate him. But the thing is, like, to me, like, I mean, I don't think that those cars are any less.
Yeah.
Than, I mean, to be
Yeah.
honest, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, if you are like that enthusiast and you do just want one of those cars,
Yeah.
and now like once it's cut up, like you're not interested in the car anymore. I get how that sucks.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's very difficult. I mean, there's no going
No,
back.
yeah,
No.
and I
There's
understand
no
it,
going
especially
back.
because there's cars that I look at that have been cut up, and it's like, there's not many of those left. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Especially like for me, the biggest one is people who take Volkswagen buses and make shorty buses.
Oh,
God,
yeah, that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's cool, but it's like, man, there's not many left of these. You're really
Yeah.
fucking up
you
the
know,
game.
even the ones that are left are like $20,000 and they're full of holes.
man.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it, I think there was a piece of me I remember when I was like deep into like the 240 SX game, and I
Yeah.
was seeing all the crashed ones. So many go from rust. You know,
Yeah.
you look on Facebook Marketplace and you just couldn't find one that was just a solid car. And then you'd see people messing them up, and then just like not like it was all bad. And it was
Yeah.
like, damn, one day like these are going to be gone. And I remember like feeling that like people should stop messing them up, and that people should start like restoring them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, that's wrong. That's like, it's like the end of an era is an end of an era.
Yeah.
Like that's what this is.
There will
Like,
be survivors.
Cars, like, yeah, sure, whatever. But like, obviously, they're not going to go extinct. You know,
Yeah.
somebody's got one in their garage.
Well, I just mean like, yeah, there's always going to be a few that make it out. And
Yeah,
like
but
my
it's just-
Buick,
it's like-
no one
it's-
saved those.
Yeah.
It's still here.
Still
Okay,
there.
yeah, but that's
Still
what I'm saying.
around.
Like, it's just like if it dies, it dies. Like you gotta like if
Dies,
you're
it
not
dies.
enjoying it and you're not like doing what you want with it because everybody else wants you to keep it for some reason, like, dude, fuck that.
And that's what it comes down to. It's just like, do what you like to
Yeah,
do.
dude,
and that's
make
why
it,
I don't
make
knock
it
on
sick.
the over
Make it make you
fenders. Yeah.
smile.
Exactly.
Make
if
it
you
cool.
like it, if that's what you want to do, go for it. You know
fucking
what I mean?
destroy it. If
Right.
you want to wreck it, go wreck it. you know?
Exactly.
And like
Don't
that's where I'm
care.
at with these SRTs too. Like,
Yeah.
these SRTs.
Oh my god.
The boys are going wild. The boys are going wild with these SRTs, and there's
telling you.
no putting a damper.
I feel
on
bad
it.
for
and
the
like
people who
now,
buy 'em.
I'm like, dude, if I was 16 and I was getting a car and I was like, dude, I could probably convince somebody to finance this, and I'm getting in one, and like now I'm in an SRT Charger.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, I'm swinging this.
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
I'm in the intersection.
Especially when you press
Like-
the go pedal and that's
God,
all
you're
it
part of
does
the
is just
problem.
swing.
Dude, I'm not saying that I would today, but I'm just saying like literally like from all
When
of
we
the
were
sh-
younger, yeah.
Dude.
When I first got my first real job at Honda, you know what I tried to buy? A 2012 SS Camaro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
thank God I didn't know I didn't have any credit at the time. And they were like,
Yeah.
yeah, payments are going to be $800. And I'm like, shit. And then I found out I had credit and bought an Accord instead. But, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just, I get it. You know what I mean? It's 16
And
year
dude,
olds.
remember me like we were for some reason you were in my 240 and we were like flying down our main road, getting on to that
Mexico.
other big
Yeah.
big road, and then just
In Mexico.
GPS said
Mexico.
slide it in Mexico, and like imagine if I had a Challenger or had a Charger.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, like that would just be more reason to just slide it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, so like that was like you were like, oh,
Yup.
shit. That me would be in the intersection just doing donuts. Like that
Yeah,
me. But like
exactly.
me now, like I realize like that's probably a bad idea.
Yeah,
we
it's
should probably
not-
chill.
not trying
a lot
to
of
do
people
that.
getting hurt. We're also losing a lot of cars. This is not really a good idea. We should probably
Although,
stop
even,
doing that. But
even we were obviously young and dumb at, once.
yeah, I wouldn't purposely crash my car yesterday.
There were a bunch of us who were also young
that shit's
and dumb.
that shit's
before,
rough, dude.
Retarded.
But slideshows weren't nearly as much of a problem as they are now.
No, they were a West Coast thing, man.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Sideshow Tone. Pull it up. Instagram.
No,
Sideshow
first
Tone?
off, I
Yeah,
need
dude.
it's so good.
So Sideshow Tony was the biggest inspiration for me getting a 240. You gotta pull him up.
I want to slander
We'll just
this,
get another
this
one.
Mark IV.
Well, we're gonna come back. We have plenty of time.
Or Mark V Supra.
Slander.
We're gonna keep moving on.
because it's a new car.
We're gonna slam it, but like we're
Because
just
I
we're just
don't
rolling.
Like that Supra. I have yet to see what it
But
speaks to
Sideshow
me.
Tone was like one of the biggest inspirations for
Yeah.
me getting into drifting. I mean, like that guy was like the street drifting
Yeah.
god
Oh,
at the
hell yeah.
time. Like nobody was moving a car
No.
like that dude.
No, not at
So
all.
Adrian, you're gonna have to like scroll down pretty far,
really
like
far.
real far,
Yeah.
because he's totally toned
Yeah.
it down. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
mean,
for
he's gone.
sure,
He's
for
gone
sure.
far more legitimate now. He's on. Oh, go back up a little bit. The black or in the middle. No, one more. That's not it.
I mean, he's still doing it.
No,
yeah.
he's not doing it.
He's like, nah,
Trust
man,
me, he's not doing it. One more
man.
right there. Oh, I think this is just when he got pulled over.
Oh, okay.
To the left. Yes, that's it. Audio. This one's pretty good. Oh fuck! It's the same road. Damn, that
yeah.
road is so famous for him.
Just
No,
swanging.
just go to a. No, it's not his 240. He's not moving right in it. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. I'm the worst navigator.
It's okay.
But yeah, he had if you find his 240 on the street, you can just pull up that video, because like just being able to like see him just articulate a car on the street and just like swinging it the way he does, dude, it's wild.
Yeah, dude. When the
I
guys
wish-
that can drift on the street as well as they would on the track, it's like
Dude,
it's a whole
such
different ball
confidence,
game, man.
and there was no one around
Oh yeah,
that was doing it like the way that he was doing it.
That was the shit back
And
then.
you know, it was so early when he was doing it.
Still 2022. He's a prolific poster.
Yeah, he posts a lot, dude. I knew this was gonna be hard. After I said it, I realized like how hard this was gonna be.
It's gonna be
for
a
you
little bit,
to pull this up.
but it's okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean
you know what
we're
I
probably
mean?
dying in the water here as far as the podcast
It's all
goes.
good.
But that red car is pretty good. He might have something on there. But anyway, so yeah, he was just the man. And still is. He still is the man.
Oh yeah, for
Dude,
sure.
He's the man.
For sure. Yeah, you just don't want to have to keep on being that guy to promote takeovers and sideshows anymore, because it's become a problem.
Because that was
now,
his
you
thing,
know?
is that like he got that name, like he chose that name because like sideshows were so popular.
Yeah.
Where like people would just go like leave the bar drunk, just pull into the intersection and just start doing donuts.
Yeah,
and they were just all
exactly.
having a good time. And and you know, relatively speaking, they wouldn't really have much issues. You know, like they had their times where like, you know, shootings would happen, people would get into fights, they're all drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like it is what it is.
how it goes,
But,
man.
yeah, it's how it goes. But today it has certainly. Oh wait, what is that picture? Or the one in the middle with the. Yeah, what's that? Is that video? Is that picture?
That's a picture
That's
of
a
a
picture.
Big old LSX.
Well, yeah, it's okay. We'll go back to your Supra. Oh wait, go back up. Right there, at the white.
2020.
Yeah, that is just insane. In the middle of like a 2-lane road, you know,
Yeah, it's in a
right
neighborhood.
back into the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just like, I mean, like that's doesn't even do him justice.
No,
I mean,
no.
dude's got so much
Oh,
skill.
yeah,
It's
for
it's
sure.
incredible.
For sure.
So shout out Sideshow Tone.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we'll go back to the
Well,
Supra.
no, this just goes back to like Liberty Walk and all that.
Yeah,
But, like,
so the Liberty Walk.
Even with the Liberty Walk, I can see it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
It does nothing for me.
I don't like that kit. I'll be
Yeah, that
honest with
kit
you.
on the Supra, it's like
Doesn't look good.
Some cars, yeah, for
me,
sure though, I can get down with.
This kind of just accentuates the worst parts of the design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one kit. I mean, just keep looking.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep looking at the same one.
there is one.
Well, no, I'm specifically talking about the Super. But like Liberty Walks kits, I've always liked.
there
Oh.
one kit that I can get down with. Big over fenders is LTO. I don't know if you ever seen or heard of those guys. Live to Offend.
Live to
Yeah, Live to Offend. So they make some. They've actually been making their rounds, but they do like E30s, E36s, and stuff like that. They, I think they're just they're new. They're new around it, but I've been following them since like they really kind of started doing it, I guess. And dude, like the work that they do. You might have seen the E36s and the big wagon E30s, but man, those kits that they make. Now that's something I can get down with.
Dude, wide body E36.
Yeah, that's something I can get down with. You know, like those kits are pretty
extra boxy
wild.
box fenders.
Like they make it look like it's part of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's what I can get. If you can make it look like it was actually belongs on the car, I can get down with that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of
right
like,
there, that flat black.
like, you know what I
That's
mean?
a
Like,
Batmobile.
I love how they have like the two stripes on like the tail lights and everything, like the two little strips. Like I like that. I don't like that little added like DTM style look to it. You know, like that's.
Dude.
I can get
with
down with
this.
that. I can get down with those ones. Yeah, like that
Adrian,
wagon.
let's give him a follow.
Yeah,
Live on the pod.
Live on the pod, you give him a follow.
yeah, those
LTO.
guys. Yeah, like,
Shout out.
those they've really been kind of
Yeah, these are
killing
sick
it.
They're
kits.
cooking.
Dude.
Yeah, they
A lot of
really
BMWs.
they've been cooking, my boy. They've been
Yeah.
cooking. Like they started out with the E30s. I noticed them
Dude,
on
this
and
wagon
like
is
It's a wagon, dude.
bro, like
Also,
And she's
Ubers.
got a wagon.
yeah,
Golly,
dude, she's
that's
got
a wide body on
She's got
that.
the Schmeats on there and everything, brother. You know, big old Schmeats. Yeah,
Damn,
dude.
that is yeah.
Yeah,
that is a
big-
good looking kit, dude.
Big heavy styling, I think, with the
Yeah.
DTM look, you know,
yeah,
which is
a lot
awesome.
of I'm seeing a lot of ARC-7.
Yeah,
and
they
a
did.
lot
I think
of-
they started out with the RX-7 and the E30.
Yeah, and the E30,
Good place to start.
BMW.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Great place to start. Yeah, I think they're.
Yeah, good market for those two cars for sure.
You know, because everybody's always looking at them. You know,
Yeah,
everybody.
the people who own them
But
and
dude,
want
like
to do that
FD
have the money.
ARC-7 wide
Oh, yeah.
body.
Everybody
sick,
eats those
dude.
up. Everybody
So
eats
sick.
those up.
No, and the people who own those and are looking to like modify them to that level, they have the money. So
Exactly, because you know those things are already money to begin with. So it's just like the E30s is
Finding the right
anything money.
demographic.
Yeah, exactly. Find the right people. Yeah, you'll be able to build a following real quick. You know.
Yeah.
So especially with what they've done with the E36s and everything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, they're pretty wild, man. Pretty wild for just what they've done.
Dude, that's so sick. I can't take it.
Yeah.
I can't take it, dude.
And I think the designer too for these guys might be the Kaiser. I think his name is on Instagram or whatever. Now that dude,
See
he
if
does
he's
some
at the top.
wild
follow him.
renderings, man. Like,
Ooh.
yeah,
the
like
Kaiser.
I'm a sucker for these.
he did a Camaro
Love.
one, an F-body Camaro for just like my Camaro. Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude! Like this dude, he does some. There goes the Camaro right there.
Yeah.
Dude, look at that with some Regas.
Hell
With some
yeah.
Regas, that's my exact Camaro and everything. Like I would love for it to look like that.
That is so sick.
Love for
You
it.
know what? Another wide body. I think Liberty Walk makes it, but
Mm-hmm.
for the C5 Corvette.
Yeah,
Dude,
there you
it's
go.
sick. I'm a sucker for that. And it has
Yeah.
that same
Yeah,
like kind of year
Yep,
style.
yep. I can get down with that.
Dude, it's so sick.
Yeah, I get down with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that body kit, yeah, those wide body kit. Hey, that one
Dude,
talking
love
what is
the
that,
Japanese style.
the Bozo
The
Zuku.
Bozo.
Yeah.
Go.
Yes, those things are so awesome. Tiny wheels and everything, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Tiny
they're
wheels.
And like this one doesn't even have that high of a tailpipe
Nah,
or anything. Like they do, and they have
yeah.
those crazy tailpipes.
Yeah, it
it's
got
so
like
nuts.
hearts and shit as tailpipes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
People do them on like the K vans and shit.
Yeah,
like, everything
yeah.
gets
Oh
that
my
treatment.
god, it's
Yeah.
so good, dude. They get it. The Japanese get it. You know what I mean? They understand
Oh, yeah.
everything, the assignments and all.
Yeah, dude, the culture and the Japanese car culture is just so sick.
Perfect, dude. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
No wide body, but just very
Ooh,
clean.
Just a
That's what I'm
very
saying.
beautiful C5.
A
Corvette.
bagged C5.
I'm a big C5 guy.
Oh yeah, dude, they're great, and then especially now you can get them for semi cheap.
Well,
Yeah.
that's 'cause right now, I think it's shifting slowly, but right now, the C5 is like the boomer Corvette, like the
Yeah.
old people.
Yeah,
Corvette.
that was the one where the jorts came out and the New
That
Balances
is
and stuff
yeah, I
like
was gonna
that.
say,
you
I heard it
know?
described as the New Balance of cars.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That was that Corvette.
so
you
right
know?
now, like I said, I think that perception's starting to shift.
Yeah,
they're getting
yeah.
old enough now to be cool.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
the C4 before it and the C3 before that was the boomer.
yeah,
Or, the old person Corvette.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's like
So
I
hop
said.
on them now. They're about to get expensive.
Yeah, because I mean they are still semi. You still can't really touch one for
They
under
never
10
really got
grand,
cheap.
really. Yeah, but you know, it's cheap for a Corvette.
Yeah,
let's
for what
be
you're getting.
honest. Yes,
Yeah.
for what you get, a 300 horsepower
Yeah,
LS1.
and soon the
et cetera, et
C6 will
cetera.
be the the New Balance of the Corvettes.
Yeah, but there's also something just to a Corvette where it's like, fuck, you don't care. Like, dude, you're in a
Yeah,
Corvette.
you're in a vet.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's
sick.
like, I'm in a vet.
I'm in a
The
vet.
interior is shitty, cheap GM plastic.
Yeah.
I don't care. I have
All
done
you
this.
can
Yeah,
hear
it's
is
a vet.
bald eagles.
Yeah, basically sitting
First
on the
thing
rear
we're doing,
end.
that skid
yeah.
shift bullshit's got to go.
No, we don't need that, so everybody can always get down with a vet,
Yeah.
A lot of them have starting to grow on me too as well. I will agree with that, especially
yeah.
like the C5s and stuff,
I mean, everybody wants a C6.
Of course.
Which, like, I mean, for 20 grand,
Yeah.
25 grand,
Can't argue that.
You can get a C6, which
Yeah.
is why I have on multiple times on this podcast, Adrian knows what I'm talking about,
Yep.
is I do not, I do not understand anybody who's paying 20 grand for an S2000 when they could just be spending that same exact money
my God.
on a C6 Corvette.
20 grand's light too.
Dude, and 20 grand's
You
like,
know?
so like, I mean, and if you get it with target tops,
Yeah.
it's the same car.
Same
It is just
exact thing.
way faster.
Oh, yeah.
and like,
Oh
and
It's heavier, not quite as.
agile and
Agile,
whatnot. Yeah,
dude.
for sure.
I can guarantee you.
But I'm also
I
the kind
can
of guy that would
guarantee
drive
you.
the hell out of whatever this is, so I don't care.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying, like, if you were to take 10 laps with a C6 and then take
There
10
you go,
laps with
Keith.
an S2000, I can guarantee you, like, 8 out of 10 taking the Corvette.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
for
just like
sure.
a unanimous. They'd be like, no, this was way more
There's only
fun.
going to be a handful of people who are going to be like, oh, I'm not going to drive that Honda. You know what I mean? I want that vet.
Yeah.
So,
That looks good,
yeah,
dude.
that's really good.
And now, is this the LTO
No,
kit?
this is the Kaiser. He's one of the I guess,
the
designers.
designer?
Yeah, I think the design
Yeah,
Is
is
this
he
a
does,
render?
He does a lot of renders
Yeah,
and such.
it's a
This
render?
might be a render. I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I think
Half
that's
the
just
shit's
a
like
render.
photorealistic.
Dude, I
Yeah.
know. The renders get nuts. I'm a sucker for the renders.
Yeah, but at Rega Masters on anything always works too. Any type of five
Ooh,
spokes.
and like, dude, wide body R34.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
yeah, I can get down with that. Yeah.
I'm cooked on that.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
an R33.
See,
This is
now
my
that's
favorite.
where I'm
R33, I know
at.
that you're-
R33, yeah.
that's-
I
that's
feel like
Adrian's
it's the
groove.
most unloved one.
It is.
but
It's my favorite, though.
It's my
Yeah.
favorite as well. I agree.
I think
agree,
I
sir.
certainly choose it over the R32.
Yeah, for sure.
Just the body lines work so well
Yeah.
on that car.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't understand why it's so underappreciated.
Well, the R32 was like the first serious GTR,
Yeah.
so it has that going for it.
Yeah.
And the
OG.
R34 was like also a
The
quantum
peak.
leap up
Yeah.
over the R33. The R33 was like a small step up,
Yeah.
so it's kind
Yeah.
of seen
And
as just like
Technically, like, that was the end. You know, like, obviously they kept going
And the
with
R34.
the
Yeah.
GTR.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Infiniti
But, like,
G35, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it totally changed. So like technically, like for that,
Yeah, so
like,
the R34 is the last hurrah.
Skyline series, like it was the peak.
I think
So-
the 33 like made less horsepower than the 32 or something too, like that.
I
or
think they were all
what-
capped at the gentleman's agreement, 276 or whatever it was.
quote, yeah, exactly.
So on paper, no. it
Well,
didn't.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they all came with different engines.
There were still RVs.
Yeah, they were still RBs,
but it was like,
but,
an RB. I think those had RB20s.
Pretty
They were
sure
25s?
They were either 25 or 26. I forget.
No,
I don't think they were
RB26 for
Well,
sure came in.
That
34.
25.
Yeah, and an R34.
I don't know. I'm not.
What
a
did the R32 have?
I'm not a Nissan guy.
I don't know. I think that like only the GTRs came with RB20s, and I don't
20s?
know if and I don't
A 2
know.
liter?
Mm-hmm.
That's tiny.
Yeah.
yeah, but they had giant turbos.
Yeah. Come on. They were
Well,
still sick.
we have technology. We can find out.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's not like we don't have technology because I know the R32s were in Group B and they
Yeah.
were monsters in Group B. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Group B racing and everything like
Yeah.
that. And that's kind of like I think where they got their whole like lure from in a way was the whole racing classes and everything.
Yeah, that's where it
like
got the
that.
name Godzilla.
Yes, exactly.
2.6. RB26.
Okay, so yeah,
DETT.
it's 26 then.
Damn.
See, I thought it was a 26.
2.8.
Oh, okay, but that's at R33.
Yes.
yeah, that's 33.
Yeah. Okay.
And the 32, RB26.
So they were all 26.
They all had
then.
26.
So I was going to say, I could have swore the RB26 was
Okay.
the Skyline engine
Yeah.
from the 32 to
But
the
see
30.
that the
Yeah.
32 was 2.6, and then you go down to 33, and that was 2.8.
That was a different engine.
Oh, that was okay. Sorry, I read that wrong then.
Yeah, they had the 2.6.
Oh, that was the 400R. That was
Yeah.
the 2.8.
And then you get to the 4th gen, and it's still a 2.6.
2.6, except for the Z tune.
Yeah, but they have
2.8.
these other engines.
Yeah, but the GTR came with the RB26.
Yeah, the only RB20s I think were the rear wheel drive
So
ones.
there was a larger engine that came in.
yeah,
Z-tune.
GTS, yeah, GTS.
This is all about the GTR
Mhm.
specifically.
GTRs. Yeah, the
Interesting.
GTSTs I think came with RB20s non-turbos and then turbos.
The
Yeah,
GTS
and
is
then
the
that's-
turbo
yeah,
rear wheel drive,
that's
which is
the-
kind of the one that I want.
That's one everybody wanted
No,
because you want to
everyone
drift
wants
it.
a GTR.
Well, because but all-wheel drive, in my opinion, sucks. Everybody's on all-wheel drive's dick, and it's like it's the wrong drive, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Front-wheel
Yeah.
drive or rear-wheel drive only.
I think you can
Yeah.
have more fun. All-wheel drive safer, and
Oh yeah, of course.
depending on your
don't-
ability to drive faster.
Well,
I think all-wheel drive. If you're on a track, it's understeer central.
Well, that's-
I think
It
that they
still
have a hard
confuses me.
time
It's
like
like-
managing that.
because it's all-wheel drive. You're
Yeah.
pushing and you're pulling at the same time.
Yeah.
So
if your
it's-
car's a 2024, if you have a La Ferrari,
Yeah.
like you're good to go.
Exactly.
You're good to go with all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
have like, a 98 all-wheel drive car, it's like
Yeah.
it's
Subaru
probably
Legacy.
gonna
Yeah.
or an Evo,
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
gonna understeer.
Yeah,
you know?
and
The
I think
Evo
that's.
didn't. Subarus did, but
Yeah,
the Evos were a lot more.
But I think that's kind of how it works for all-wheel drive. It's not. There really is no
It's hard to
oversteer. It's
synchronize
just
that.
either understeer or that's it, or you kind of
Or neutral.
or neutral. Yeah, exactly.
Now, the Evos, I think, would rotate.
Yeah, but I don't. Well, no, you're right because they were 50-50. So,
Yeah.
but it all depends on alignment as well. You can always get a car
Well, I'm
to
talking like
rotate.
factory, as I'm just remembering that episode of Top Gear where they had an Evo 10 or
Yeah.
Evo 9. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Evo 9
yeah,
and
yeah.
the equivalent Impreza, which I think was the Hawkeye,
Yeah, at that time.
and
yeah.
the Subaru understeered. No matter what they did,
Yeah.
it would understeer. But the Evo was like razor sharp.
Because if you want to compare an STI to an Evo, they really all STI sucked until the Evo 10 came out.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
I
well,
mean,
22.
don't get me wrong, I love a blob eye. That's my favorite.
Yeah, they're cool.
But I'd rather have an Evo 9.
Yeah, an
Yeah,
Evo
the
8.
9.
I'm not saying it's
9.
the better car. It's probably going to blow up well before the Subaru, as long as the head gaskets don't let go on the Subaru.
aesthetically.
Yeah.
But God, I'm a sucker for the
Dude,
Evo
Oh, yeah,
9.
they
they
look
look
so
so
great.
good.
Yeah,
I'd
they
even
look
take
so
an
good.
8, but the 9 is my favorite.
Yeah. 8,
Yeah.
9, and 6. Bam.
Yeah,
Great.
I mean, dude, I still dream about just dailying one of those, an Evo
yeah.
9.
Oh,
Like, this is
yeah.
a cool car that's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like you're just pulling out in traffic and just
No, dude, that's what I'm saying. And that's
just
where the all-wheel
groceries in the
drive
back.
comes into play, you know?
Oh God, why am I blanking on the engine code? What was
Ford,
4G63.
4G63.
Yeah,
4G63, that's it.
Yeah, one of those 4G things.
Yeah, you had it. You had
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're cool. It's just, me and all-wheel drive, we don't get along.
No
I
jive.
never will. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you, dude. And ever since I had a 240, I was like, this is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
like this is
exactly.
right.
Yeah, once I
Yeah.
got a rear-wheel drive car, even though I never did anything crazy with it, I couldn't go
Yeah.
back.
Mm.
Like my Volvo would understeer.
Yeah.
But if I abused it enough, it would oversteer.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's funny because it's like it's all you see at the track is BMWs, Hondas, Ford here and there, Chevy here and there. You know, Mustangs and Camaros and stuff like that. More Camaros than Mustangs, in my opinion. But
I can see that.
but yeah, you don't really see. You see an Evo here and there, an STI here
Well, all
and
the
there,
Evos are
whatever.
blowing out.
I think they're just too expensive.
They're too expensive, and the handful of
Unreliable.
Evos that I've seen, they've blown up. A handful of STIs I've seen, they've blown up.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like
So,
the Evo
dude,
always had the reputation of being less reliable
Yeah.
than the Subaru, and I'm assuming that reputation was earned.
Yeah.
And now that it's gone, people are calling the Subaru unreliable. So were they ever really reliable?
I don't think either of them were ever really reliable. Let's be honest here.
Just,
you
the
know what I
Subaru
mean?
looked good next to the Evo.
Yeah, and the
exactly.
Subarus are totally power capped.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
if you have a Subaru that has like 500 horse, it's made out of glass.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
It's made out of glass.
And that's
Dude,
why you
it's-
don't see 1,000 horsepower Subarus
No,
left
dude,
and
they don't
right. You know,
exist.
like
Now,
you
the
would a LS or
4G63
something
could make
like that.
1,000
Yeah.
horsepower, but you had to like be careful. It was
Yeah.
also made of glass, but you could get to 1,000.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
And you could do it a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As
so
opposed to.
the big thing with those was crank walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a huge thing.
I remember,
wild.
and this I heard this so long ago that I couldn't tell you where I found it or prove the veracity. But it was the the earlier ones with the 6-bolt crank were the
as opposed to the 7.
were the good ones, and the ones with the 7-bolt, which had more, were the ones that walked. And they were the newer ones. But what I had heard was actually both had the same amount of crank walk, just
and
the
you just had to
7
get the right
the 7-bolt
crank
had sensors that would pick up on it.
Interesting.
So it just went undiagnosed in the 6-bolt engines.
Yeah.
It was still
I think
there.
There was a replacement cranks, and then the those like super dampers did a lot for those. That
I mean, I'm
made
sure
up
there
for
were
a lot.
solutions to it, just like you could
Yeah.
bulletproof a 6.4 Power Stroke. There are ways to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
Once again, that goes with the reliability that we were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? Everybody has their Achilles heel. you know?
Exactly.
Everybody
Dude.
What's
does.
the
Every
Achilles heel on a
car
good old
does.
LS, though?
Oh, I got you.
What is it?
Lifters.
There you
Lifter.
go.
Fucking lifters, bro.
Oil
About, like,
pressure issue.
Yeah,
oil
oil pressure. I mean, how
issues.
many people have like lost a cam? Like so just
I've
personally,
replaced a
like
cam.
Now, are we talking about with the...
I've done that.
Are we talking about with the displacement on demand, or the base models had that issue too?
I
I'm
know
talking
because
about
it
just
was
like
only
LS1, LS2s.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
only the.
Because I know the
It was-
displacement on demand is causing all kinds of havoc.
That's the only motors that it had a problem on was when it would shut the motors that would shut down half of the motor for the economy bullshit. That was the only
yeah, they
ones
drop
that it had
cylinders out.
because what
Yeah.
it was happening because that was my bread and butter when I owned my shop were those motors. No bullshit. I would have the wholesale guy. At one point, I had 4 of them lined up: Suburban, Tahoe, Denali, whatever it was.
You just
Dude, no bullshit. It got to a point to where we would, since they were wholesale cars, you'd only do the lifters that were a problem. As long as the cam wasn't chewed up, then you're fine. So I was to a point where I had that intake manifold and that head off within 45 minutes and everything replaced
my
and good to
God,
go.
dude.
So it was like I'd do 2 of them in a night. You know what I mean? Like I might even do 3, get the third one started and damn near finished by the end of the night.
Yeah.
You're talking about 4 hours of work here. You know,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, when I took over my shop, one of the last wholesale cars I worked on was a 13 Yukon Denali, and it had the famous lifter tick. Then my uncle was like, "There we go, we got one," But
We
when
got a live one.
when I went to go take it apart, and I went to go check the cam, and the cam was chewed
wiped
up.
it.
washed.
So what? It's the roller lifters.
Yeah.
They turn in the little holder that they're
Yeah.
in because
And they
it's
go
just
sideways.
a plastic holder, so they
Yeah.
go sideways and then chew up the fucking
Yep.
cam.
Rotating lifters is fine when they're not rollers.
Yeah. That's perfectly
Actually,
fine
I
when they're
think
not
it's
rollers.
desirable to even out the wear.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But on a motor that
rollers?
has plastic holders and they break and then they start to turn, that's no
Yeah.
bueno. So
That's kind of
Yeah, dude, I've seen
Yeah.
guys at Club Loose, and like dude, I mean, he had to drive 45 minutes to like, or maybe farther for that Pep Boys, but
Yeah.
Pep Boys had a complete head in
yeah.
stock.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Dude.
I believe it. I believe it,
that
man.
was
That's
sick.
awesome.
Yeah, that was and
That's
like,
awesome.
And like that's akin to like just like you were saying, like the reliability.
Yeah.
Like they are reliable.
Everybody
Couple
has their
Achilles
points.
heels.
Yeah.
But like fuck, like Pep Boys stocked ahead
Oh,
down
yeah,
the street.
dude.
Like
That's
holy
fucking
shit,
sick, dude. Even if it is just a cheap head that you
Yeah.
could just swap everything onto. Fuck
Yeah, it was
you know
like
what I
it was
mean?
like $500.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
all
hey,
for
go
probably
it.
ahead.
flows like shit, but
Yeah.
it works.
It works, brother.
Yeah,
you
got
know
you back
what I
on
mean?
track.
It always works, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make up for the lack of flow with displacement.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now I'm waiting to find another one of those like Tahoes with a lifter tick so I can get it for real cheap. You know what I mean? Because I know how to fix them like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Now,
Did
know?
you do anything to, or do you at least know how to do anything to prevent that from happening again?
Not that I've ever really heard of, besides upgrading the parts. You know what I
So the
mean?
holders.
Yeah, like get rid of those plastic holders. I think you can get like a different one or something like that. I think, and then like you can get different. You can do a whole delete kit.
I was gonna say
On
because
them.
I've heard there are delete kits.
Yeah.
It's getting harder to find because like eBay has like stopped selling anything
TSP.
that's going to tamper with your
Yeah.
emissions. Like you can't buy
yeah.
a tuner off eBay.
Yeah,
anymore or
no, you
anything
can't
like
do that. Yeah, no, because
Which
I tried to
sucks.
sell my Flash Pro on there. They're like, nope, can't do that. And I'm like, damn it. Nah, I guess I'm stuck
Literally
with this
$1984.
$900 Flash Pro now. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, Texas Speed, they have a whole kit that you can buy for that 5.3 whatever
Yeah.
motor.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like a whole top end, new lifters, shit like that. So yeah, you just do the delete, and I think you're good to go. So if I were ever to get one like that,
That's going
it's
in.
one of the first things on the list. Yeah, because I'm not. I mean, a cool newer cam would be pretty sweet. Don't get me wrong. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
if that ever happens,
little ghost cam.
yeah,
you know?
exactly. You know, a little chops. You know what I mean? That never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
So.
So you've got your Honda.
Or wait, is it a Phantom cam? I'm sorry, I don't want to like fuck that up on the podcast.
Nah, you were right. You were right.
Is
Ghost
it
cam.
Ghost?
Yeah,
Is it
ghost
Ghost?
cam.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Damn, I don't want to sound like an idiot.
No, you're right. It's okay.
We're all idiots here. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got CRMS with the B16 VTEC and all that. You should get a custom ground cam for that, right? And fulfill a long dream that I've had, right? So you know how you've got the VTEC killer cams,
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
just like Brian Crowder cams, all
Yeah,
that shit.
just in VTech all the time.
Yeah, I want you to get a cam where the off VTEC cam is a completely stock grind, but the VTEC cam is like the most wild fucking cam you get to run on this thing.
So it just goes chop, chop,
No,
chop.
no. At idle,
You want
it
that crossover
sounds-
Yeah.
fucking nutty.
It sounds completely stock. You stay out of VTEC, you're getting 30 miles per gallon.
Yeah,
It drives
yeah,
just
yeah.
like a stock Honda.
As soon as you hit that
You hit
55.
VTEC, like you put the VTEC on a controller, drop it down a couple
Yeah.
RPM so it gets in there earlier because
Yeah.
you're gonna lag a bit off the line. but
But yeah.
I want someone to do that. I need to see that.
Well, my plan with that motor, like I said, I will eventually revisit the bottom end. I know I'll never be able to do it like they do, but I want a spoon motor. I want that 230, 240, whatever it is, horsepower with 11,000 RPMs. Like, that's kind of my end goal with this motor. I may not be able to do it the same way they do because good luck finding any information on that motor.
You know Hector's going to be running spoon.
So hit up my boy Hector, eh? Unless you spend like the 12, 13 grand it'll take to have them build the motor, you know what I mean? Which I'll do it myself at that point.
Yeah.
I'm already halfway there anyway, so so that is actually like kind of my goal, you know, like eventually with that motors, because it's always like a 1.6 liters screaming to 11,000 RPMs with 200 and some odd horsepower,
So
like
sick.
you know what I mean? Because that's
Yeah.
just
Dude,
you know.
any engine just absolutely screaming high RPM. Any engine at high RPM. Just,
Anything. That's what I'm saying. Like just to hear this thing go, like at the track, I was like, wait a second, I have 9,000 RPMs. Let's
Yeah.
really start
Let's
using
use it.
that.
Open
yeah,
it up.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's where
when you
I-
have an engine that can make power up there, like keep pulling all the way to the
yeah,
top, God.
and mine does it.
That's what's so beautiful about these cars.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And that's why I don't like new Honda.
Yeah.
No, well, they just don't have the revs, but they make the power. You know
They
what I
make the
mean?
power, but
they
I-
make the power.
It's two different ways of making power, and it's a more practical way to make power.
Yeah.
Slap a turbo onto something.
100%. Yes.
Got it.
Mhm.
It just
Yes.
it grabs
Safer.
my soul.
Yeah, I
when
know.
you got an
I
N.A.
know.
screamer.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's just what it is. It's no longer an NA motor for Honda. You know what I mean? But
Is that your intentions? Is like to? I mean, I know you want to like kind of mimic a spoon engine, but you intend on just staying NA.
yeah, I'm a
With
big
this
NA guy.
NA,
I'm not
yeah.
really. I mean, turbos and superchargers definitely are cool as shit. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I don't know a lot about them though. I never really dealt with them that much. Not a lot. I've never owned a turbo car, you know, stuff like that. But they're cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's like I always remember my first instructor telling me when he was, you know, when we were shooting the shit, he's like, yeah, I got a turbo MR2 and yeah, it makes like 500 horsepower. And I'm like, that's sick. He's like, yeah, that's what I used to track. But it's like every time you take it to the track, you know, you're at Poconos and you guys retune it for the elevation. You go to Watkins Glen, you're on top of a mountain, retune it for an elevation. Or maybe you don't have to do that, but it's not going to run as well as it did down at like Jersey or something. You know what I mean? Like elevation changes, temperature changes,
you got
stuff
any
like
car,
that.
Even an NA car on like the edge of its performance envelope, you kind of have to worry about that.
Yes, don't get me
Period.
wrong. No matter what motor, you always have to worry about that type of stuff. But it's like I feel like turbo motors, especially when you start getting higher horsepower, it's like, yeah, there's gonna be more. It's a turbo. It's cooking the oil. It's putting more stress into it. Stuff like that.
It's an added variable.
Exactly. So if I could still make a good amount of horsepower on an NA motor, then why not?
Then you're never gonna get the throttle response of an NA.
Of course, yes, never gonna. And that's you know what I'm saying. And like. So it's like my buddy with the Type R always says, it's like he's so used to, like when he first started racing, he's like, there's no RPMs. I'm so used to having RPMs because I think it like maxes out like $7,000 or something like that, you know, like 6,800.
I mean, Honda dropped that off with the when they put the K24 in the Civic Si.
They don't really go up to 8, you know.
No, the K24 I think was the death knell for the old style.
Yeah.
Honda.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you can build them and they'll still do 10,000 RPM, no problem.
Honda just doesn't do that for reliability.
Just not factor. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like
they don't want to warranty it.
Yeah, you can't hop into. It's not like hopping into a Del Sol or an Integra or whatever have you, and you're taking it all the way to the limit. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I've always dug about those types of cars. You know what I mean? You just kind of.
My Integra was LS motor, non VTEC, but that thing still pulled hard all the way up to like the 7,500 RPM red line.
And that's like one of the biggest things the tuner asked me. He's like, "What do you want out of this motor?" I'm like, "Whatever you can get.
I want to go fast."
Yeah, I was like, "I just need as much power as possible
without breaking the thing."
Without breaking, I said reliable power first off. And then he's like, "What kind of RPM you look for?" I was like, "I need 9,000."
All of them.
I was like, "I don't care. Whatever you do, I need 9,000." So as he's tuning it, he's like, "Yeah, we could definitely do that." He's like, "I'm just gonna keep going up and up and up and just see where it goes, you know."
Yeah.
So by the time he got up to 9,000, he's like, "It'll do 9,000, but the power drops off at 88." So at 8,800, it's like where I lose that 170 horsepower and it stops kind of making anything from there. So
that's where it's having a hard time breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what he was saying because the intake pipe that I have on it, it's a V2, so it goes to like a big old 3-inch down to like a big old like 2-inch. So and then it goes back to a big ass throttle body. So it's like if I take that out and then do the exhaust as well, I'll have like maybe an extra 5-10 horsepower.
You might actually lose a little low end torque doing that, but
a little bit, but there's not much torque in general.
Well, that's
in that
why you
motor.
need every bit you can.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think it still made like 104 foot-pounds of torque or something crazy like that.
I mean, how hard would it be to like make an active exhaust system with a butterfly valve that?
Not that hard.
You've got narrow pipe for that high velocity scavenging and all that.
Yeah.
And then once
I feel like actually I think that's pretty hard.
It might be a little hard.
That's actually terribly hard. I think that it's actually time to put a supercharger on.
When you have a welder and stuff like that, you can make anything happen.
It's a butterfly valve, and
that you want it to be active with the throttle response.
I mean, to do it like continuously variably would obviously be very difficult. But like, man, I start getting restricted around 5,000 RPM.
Yeah.
Let's open it up.
What opens that up? Like
a butterfly valve on X-ray. They got you can get it
on RPM.
Exhaust. I feel like that's not that hard to do.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Gotta hook it up to VTEC.
Yeah, hook it up to VTEC. Have it open up with the VTEC cam.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
On a Honda, you know what I mean?
That's a good
hook
idea.
It up to VTEC.
They've already got something watching the RPM.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. I guess everything's watching everything on a computer, but like, how do you manipulate it? I don't know.
Hook it up to a relay
that
sends power to an actuator.
No idea.
You could do some fancy things with computers. So there's that.
They are very fancy.
Oh yeah, exactly.
If you can't figure out, go ask AI to figure out a code for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds
hard.
When there's a will, there's a way, I guess. You know what I mean?
It sounded hard.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to do as much as I can out of that little B16. You know what I mean? Everybody's always like B18 this, B18 that. I got my little 1.6, and I'm happy with it.
You go long enough, and like I'm sure you're gonna hold on to this car for as long as you can.
Yeah.
So further down the road, when you're famous and rich or whatever, I want you to definitely like look into like how can we absolutely maximize this little 1.6.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Absolute airflow. Like, you got to come up with, like, active intake and active
exhaust
on it just to make it, like,
I think he's thinking about it right
dude,
now.
it's already on the list. Are you kidding me?
I don't think money's a factor.
I'm going to do everything I possibly can before I K-swap that damn car.
B-Series supremacy, bro.
That's
a
what
big
I'm saying,
B-Series
dude.
guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole reason behind it. It's like, yeah, of course I can K-swap the damn thing. That's what everybody does, you know? And that's why it became a problem to find a tuner at one point. but like, yeah, I just didn't want to. Like, I had access to the K. Like when I was working at Honda, dude, there was K24s from CRVs in the back of the damn junkyard.
The scrap
place.
pile.
Yeah,
That makes my turbo
whatever.
bones.
You know,
just
yeah,
shake.
exactly, dude. Yeah, I actually eventually had one on an engine stand from an Accord. It was a K24A2.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
I had, but it's stuck.
Let's go.
I left it at my shop when I walked away from that. So, but yeah, like, you know, I was already ready to roll. I was gonna rebuild one and everything, you know, the whole nine.
Could have put the K in the back of the Del Sol.
Yes. Well, actually, the idea was to keep the Del Sol and then use the old Sir Miss motor and put that back in.
What was in
the D16Y?
Oh, the Z6.
Or Z6, yeah,
the Z6.
D16 Z6, yeah. Because my buddy, he already had
Still
it.
a cool motor.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
saying,
nice.
Might have had one.
It's probably the best single jingle out there.
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
Honda,
because the
you know?
Y8 made the same horsepower technically.
Yeah,
that was in the
yeah.
next generation, but I don't know. I always felt like the Z6 was just a little more
It's
peppy.
just, yeah, a little bit more. That's why the car was named Pepsi. You know what I mean? Had a little pep to his step. You know,
Yeah.
so
Now, I just an observation I had. I want to know if you notice this. Do the K series always feel like a bit more high strung than the B series?
high strung how?
I don't know. Like
yeah.
Furman had a Civic Si
Like more problematic.
B16. No, it just felt. God, I wish I had a better way of describing it. It just
I think
felt
I know
like
what you're saying.
Stressed.
Yeah.
It was like really high strung. It tight vibration.
There's
and
like
just-
there's no
Yeah.
you don't feel like the thing was refined.
Yeah.
You don't
yeah,
like there's
the
not
B16
this like
in Furman's Civic was like when it idled, it
Smooth.
was a Honda.
Yeah.
God, it just breathed being good.
Yeah,
Well, there's a whole reason why the B series doesn't have a balance shaft,
that did.
and the K series does. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
But then, like,
yeah.
I drove an 8th gen Civic Si when I worked at Honda, and like it just felt on edge. God, I don't know how I can
maybe
describe it.
because it actually makes torque. You know what I mean?
No, but like
Maybe because it actually makes torque.
felt like
and
it felt
feels like
it
the
had
motor's
to-
like you know?
kind of actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it felt high strung. It felt like it idled higher. Like it,
Yeah.
not just it was set to idle higher. Like it had to idle higher. If it went any lower, it was going to start shaking and vibrating.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And just it felt tauter.
It's not.
God, it's hard to describe.
It's not as balanced as a 4-cylinder, I guess you can
But
say.
like because the B
Or-
series, the B series is like one of the best 4-cylinders ever.
Yeah,
just
and it
whether
always
you
will
wanted
be.
a drivable car,
Yeah.
daily drivability refinement, or you wanted to build it.
Yeah,
It just was like you said, it breathes excellence. It was
Yeah.
just a dual motor.
It's just
the
what
K
it
series is much more capable.
you got to remember, man. Like Honda, it's the biggest motor manufacturer in the world. You know what I mean? So it's like if there's one thing that they know how to do, it's definitely to build a motor. You know what I mean? Like,
If only they could rust-proof their older cars.
yeah, we won't go there.
I don't know. But I love that argument, and I've stood up for so many cars and being like, no, they don't rust, but like they did everything rusts.
Everything rusts.
I've had a hard time.
Rust
I had a-
worse. I just wish they
Yeah,
didn't.
no, I get you. I get you.
mean-
I just like to bring that up. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I like to bring that up because I've done that. I've defended cars.
yeah.
I've been like, no, they don't.
But it's
And I'm
just-
like they do, dude.
It's just where we're at, though. Unfortunately, you know. But
Salt
like,
belt.
because people on the West Coast are like, "What's that?
yeah.
What's rust? What's Honda rust?" They don't know what
Yeah.
Honda rust is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean you don't know what that
Yeah.
is? You don't see the hole in the quarter panel over there? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
that's just how it
No,
goes.
I've never seen that before.
No, actually,
Yeah.
I don't see that rust spot that's now behind your giant wide body kit.
Yeah, you
that
know,
looks really nice.
exactly.
Hint, do it.
No, that's the exact reason why I've thought about the Pandem kit. You
Come
know, it's like
on.
cut the fenders. This will be a
Do
real
it.
simple
Do
thing.
Hit up our now new friends at LTO.
Put some 265s underneath the damn thing. You
Let's
know.
go.
It'd be no need for 170 horsepower. It
No.
couldn't even do anything with that.
That would slow you to the
Yeah.
unsprung weight. And the
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
It'd be
Christ.
ridiculous.
You go to
you
turn
know?
wheel like, why is it so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm already having a problem with the power steering. Don't need to give it more.
Yeah,
of a
let's just put a fatter tire on
That's
there.
Yeah,
another thing that
exactly.
Honda nailed. Their hydraulic power steering is
Oh, man.
second to none.
Oh yeah, well I mean that's what I'm saying. The damn thing works so well up until now, and I raced the damn thing. Now it's screaming its
Yeah.
freaking head
But it's
off,
worth
you know?
fixing. Like that's not something I'd want to
Yeah.
swap out. Like if I could find a way to put Honda's steering
No.
rack on other cars, I would.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I was like when it started to happen. My buddy's like, "Yeah, just rebuild it," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I guess I could actually, yeah, because scrap seals and a new bearing and call it a day, because it is the pump that's designed to handle 9,000 RPMs all day, you know, so it's like, you might as well.
Yours was just tired.
Damn, that's a good ass point.
Yeah.
That's a good point, dude.
Yeah.
I never I've shared that thought, but I never like put it to like that term where I'm like, yeah, that bitch is ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
you got to remember these cars were engineered to do these things.
Yeah.
It's like as much as we are the guys that fix the engineers' problems, it's like, well, they did think about it too at the same time. It just
Honda
doesn't
in the
handle
90s,
real
I don't
world
have
use,
too many notes
know?
for those engineers.
And that's what I'm saying.
No
dude.
notes. You did good.
Yeah, exactly. Working for them for as long as I did.
Oh no, I have one.
What's that?
Why the fuck did you mount the fuel filter to this flimsy sheet metal bracket on the firewall?
Okay,
God damn it.
That way. Like I said, there's a handful of things Honda doesn't do.
Some things boil down to sales.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's little things.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
but
like,
you can see that like, and every car hits that. It's just when you look at every car, you're like, how soon did it hit? Like, where they were like, hey, it's time to start cutting costs.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, like,
Yeah.
you look at Japanese cars in the 90s, you don't see much of that
Exactly.
because
That's
they
what
were
I'm
in
saying.
that bubble
So
economy.
that's
They
what I'm
could
saying.
afford
Yeah.
it. They
So
could
I think
afford the engineering.
It took so long for them to
And
actually
then-
start feeling that.
Then you hit 2001.
Yep, that was bad. But you know what? We're not even going to talk about it.
2001 to 2008
we're not
didn't
talking
exist.
About it. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. Fuck that thing. Fuck that thing, dude.
Well, that's just how it goes, though.
Yeah. So 5 minutes before you showed up today, Adrian and I were just talking about buying old Honda Civics and just joining you. And we're just like, we're watching you race, and we're like, dude, this looks like so much fun.
It is
crazy.
so much fun, and that's just like I said, what you asked me, what got into it earlier. It's just, dude, just getting out there like the first time with the Acorn, and just like my buddy had his Type R. It's just like, even though I had a dad mobile, you know what I mean?
Did you have the sport trim?
Yeah, it was a
So
sport
you had
model.
like the extra 5 horsepower from that exhaust.
it was it was the most horsepower that Accord could make at the time. You know,
Outside
which
of the V6.
actually was pretty sweet. Yeah, outside the V6, which I tried to get, but it was a motherfucker to find.
Did
Go ahead.
that generation? Couldn't you only get the V6 with a manual in the coupe? I don't
Yeah,
think they didn't
so
sell
that
the
was
sedan.
that was the thing when I first was looking for that car, because it was 2015. All I had at the time was that Camaro trans barely worked.
Yeah, that thing was
It's
hurting.
It's haggard. It's still hurting. So I was like, well, I'm making big boy money. Let's get a big boy responsible car. Let's get something reliable. I was like, let me get something before Christmas time so I can actually make it to my aunt's house, et cetera, et cetera. So it was like, I had a friend as a salesman at Honda, and I was like, yo, hook it up. Like, I want a coupe, because I always promised myself if I was going to get an Accord, black coupe V6 manual.
Oh, dude, I mean, all the V6 Accords.
Those are the coolest.
They're running 14s.
That's what I'm saying. They're fist fuck, So in that year, though, 13 and up, because that was the only thing that the loan company was giving me. So they were like,
they don't want you financing old
They were
cars.
like, it has to be 13 and up at the time. It was 2015. So I was like, okay, well, that kind of hinders things. I'm like, I can't really buy anything that year for under 20 grand. So I had to up the loan, et cetera, et cetera. And I told the salesman what I wanted. And he's like, dude, it is incredibly hard to find these coupe V6 manual Accords.
Slim pickings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's like, listen, we have this on the lot. It's a 4-cylinder, 6-speed manual sedan, black on black.
Like that.
I'm
It's
like,
most of what I want.
I'm like, okay, you kind of have like 3 out of the 4 things I'm looking for. So, okay, he's like, here's the keys. Go take it out to lunch. Let me know. So I got to take it out. And I'm like, yeah, this thing's actually pretty sweet. You know what I mean? It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's like, it's a brand new car. It's my first brand new car.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this thing's cool. Well, it's certified. I only have 15,000 miles on it.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
Might as well be brand new. But I just instantly just fall in love with it. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what I got. But, there wasn't much modifications you could do with it.
No, I remember, because I think I still worked at Honda, or it was shortly after I stopped working at Honda. But like, I knew the new K Series, the Earth Dream.
Yeah,
and
it was
that's
the
what was
Earth
in
Dream
that.
motor. Yep.
And I remember being pissed that they got rid of the exhaust manifold.
Yeah, so it's just so
And I remember joking with you about like, you're just gonna get a single pipe coming out of the head. A couple years later, like, hey,
got a single pipe coming out the head, and I bought what is the RV6 pipe for it too. So it eliminated that main cat at one point. And
Allegedly,
I still had the cat on there. Don't worry about that. Well, there was 2 catalytic converters on that car. So, but yeah, I did use that RV6 pipe at one point, and it actually was pretty sweet, you know. So I can honestly say with the modifications I did with that car, it probably made a stout close to like 190, 200 horsepower in that, you know, sedan trim or whatever. So, but yeah, man, that was the thing. It was just like, you know, racing that. It was like, what an experience. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of getting into a car that you didn't really expect to be able to race and just have fun. You know?
So I guess that what it kind of boiled down to, I feel like for most people, obviously, but just to like kind of reiterate it, is that like it's so much time, it's so much work, and it's so much money.
It is money.
So like it's hard, like, and like, so it sounds like for you just kind of ended up in the right time at the right place, and you were like, you know what? I can do it now. Fuck it, let's go.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Let's just do it.
100%.
And you did it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that like I was like when I got into Club Loose, like I was kind of in that point, but like I bought the car to do it.
Yeah.
Like I had like I had my friend Alex Unruh, shout out, and he had an Lexus SE 400, which was so sick.
Those things are sick.
Yeah,
that was
so
a
like
missile.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so like that was
His
cool.
was a missile.
Yeah,
like
like
no
it was
door
fucked up.
cards, stickers everywhere.
Hell yeah, brother.
Probably a blown head gasket.
Well, not until I bought it. It didn't have a blown head gas until I bought it. But it took a couple owners before that happened. But anyway, but then I kind of got influenced into it, and then Sideshow Tone, and I was like, yo, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm buying one. So I sold the Integra. I bought an 240, and then like from there it was like just learn on the streets, and then like, I was learning on the streets, like kind of doing my thing, and then found other people that were also doing it, and like just like stayed close to them, and then before I knew it, they were like. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I got a gun pulled on me by an undercover or an off duty. Yeah, that was a little rough.
That's rough.
But yeah, dude, like plenty of like little like close calls and like shit like that.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, I should be in jail probably.
Yeah,
I should probably be in jail.
I'm right there with you, brother.
Yeah, dude.
I've avoided it so many times myself.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where I was at though too with the whole racing thing. Like me and my buddy, we talked about it so much, and like I said, the Forza thing, and then like actually getting out there and going on, like, you know how it is for us car guys, go to a car show. And then go out like on the back roads with your friends, and you're all a couple
doing
like,
the speed limit.
Yeah, you know going around the twisted turning,
all this
exactly. You know what I mean? Like doing that stuff. So it's like, yeah, you can do that, and it's great, but it's like you can only go so far. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what it is. And
the biggest thing that would scare me about like going at speed on like most roads is they're not made with that in mind. So like, you go on a back road and you go off the road, you're in trees.
Exactly, you're in trees. You're in somebody's backyard, somebody's front door.
Got runoff.
Exactly, you got a guardrail or a tire section that's gonna cushion your impact or whatever have you. You know, you got to pay for it. Unfortunately,
yeah. So us,
hit it, but
so us, we were like clutch kicking in back roads,
exactly,
ripping e-brakes, and we're like, we're gonna die.
Exactly, yeah.
This could happen at any moment,
and
it was almost like to our justice to like just drive as fast as we could and just hope the tail came out before the front did.
Exactly, and that's kind of like where we were at. You know, we were like, let's stop doing this on the street and let's just find a place. And that's like I said, we found N.A.S.A and everything. And like you're right though, it is money, but N.A.S.A, in my opinion, still I haven't really checked up recently on other clubs, but N.A.S.A is still the cheapest, I think, since the last time I checked.
You're missing any quality.
No, and you're not, and
well,
it's
N.A.S.A.
yeah, no, not that N.A.S.A.
Two different N.A.S.As here.
Yeah, N.A.S.A Northeast. It's and that's kind of like what it is. Like it still is relatively cheap in a sense to get you out there. I think, like I said, there are a couple more clubs that you could race with that are a little bit cheaper and do things a little bit differently, but in my opinion, N.A.S.A is great. especially the HPD.
No, we won't be sending anyone to the moon.
Yeah, right. That's what everybody thinks. They're like, NASA, what's that?
I didn't
Like,
know NASA had a card.
Well,
Exactly.
just try to register. I'd like to see how much it is.
yeah, if you go to like,
Because I want you to go to
register
Club Loose too. Because I think Club Loose is like $230.
Yeah, and so
So how are you
like
picking for like events?
go
Well, I think
to that one
Thunder
right there.
Homeless?
That's the next one. Just hit
Oh,
register.
Watkins Glen? No, we're registering for Watkins
Hey,
Glen.
you could do that too. Go to just hit, you just have to go to jump to registration or whatever. It'll take you there. And so like I said, like a
So
day is like
$330.
$335.
620.
2 days for $620.
yep.
3 days, $319. So yeah, dude. So now, can you go to Club Loose, Adrian? Because like, as this is like. The reason I got out of drifting too is that like you're talking about like $1,200 for a set of tires,
Yeah.
and then maybe they
with
last
drifting.
you like 10 events, and then you're good. So like we would need 10 sets of tires.
Oh yeah.
And, like,
Exactly.
it's crazy.
It's nuts, dude.
Yeah,
and that's
and
why I
s-
never really got into it because like drifting is expensive.
Yeah.
Track racing is definitely, especially
Yeah.
when you get to become a real racer and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
you're still going through tires as quick as
$160 or $185 at the gate.
Hell
So,
yeah.
that's not
A
bad.
little cheaper, but then so like, even my friend Julian, shout out to Julian, he kind of brokered a deal with a tire company.
Yeah.
Like not really a sponsor, but just
Yeah.
been like, he's like, dude, look, I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep buying tires.
Yeah.
I'm buying brand new
You can do
tires.
it.
Like, bitch, cut me a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's pretty much.
kind of like a wholesale deal.
Yeah, it was actually. It is a wholesale deal for sure. Yeah. So, but he got a deal. But even from those tires, he's like, yeah, dude, it's still like, I think he's paying like $160 a tire.
Yeah,
for like
exactly.
brand new tires.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
not great, but like he's like, at least they're all the same. Because
Yeah.
what we were doing before is like just working in an automotive field. We were just taking cars like,
Yep.
like hey, like
The-
these
the
have
tires
like
have been
630
taken off.
seconds
Yep,
on them.
yep,
Okay, cool,
yep.
they're mine.
Yeah,
Those are
exactly.
my tires now.
That's how my one buddy did
I've
it.
got one Firestone. I've got a Goodyear. I've
Yeah.
got a Linglong Crosswind.
But it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because you're gonna burn them up anyway. You
But-
know?
it still does
but
something.
but every tire does react different.
Of course,
between
yes.
all season
Yes,
and whatever.
yes,
so
yes,
like
yes.
you would get consistent with a tire that you really liked,
Yeah.
and then you look down and it's done.
Yeah,
And
you're like,
"Fuck,
shit, I got another mix.
I put on, and I have to relearn a new tire. And so like instead of like learning the skill, you're learning the skill on like a new tire.
Yeah.
And like it's just like an added variable that like where he was like, dude, it's so worth the money to just invest in the tires. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
he still goes through I think at least 3 sets on an event. And so like whatever that math is
exactly.
way more than that ticket.
Yep.
So drifting is like doing burnouts.
Yeah.
Like kicking the back
Drifting
end
is
out.
purposely
It is-
destructing
It is
your
the most.
tires.
Yeah, but I think it's the most fun thing to do with a car.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that like there's a very close second is like track racing, if not higher.
Yeah.
I've never done it. I
Oh
can't
yeah,
even say.
yeah.
But
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I think it's so close that where it's like I have to try it.
Oh, yeah,
I have to
absolutely.
try it because like it could be again and a more unattainable goal.
Yeah, and that's
know,
kind of
where,
what
like,
it is, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
you
You know,
can have a car that's set up. And,
Yeah.
and
You're gonna wear
a
tires
whole
but you're
season.
not-
You don't have to buy tires. If you don't break anything, I think you're good to
Exactly.
go. Like,
Exactly.
you can kind of keep moving and like you can just
Exactly.
kind of keep hitting events.
I really want to try it at some point because I remember that high that we got when we first went go karting,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and
Wait,
it was like
hold that thought. I'm gonna pee again. Sorry, folks.
Now you're good.
Pee break.
Getting in to the working on the classic cars.
Well, hey, before you know it, you might have a classic on your hands.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, your car might end up being a classic.
oh, well, it already is, dude. It's as old as I am.
Yeah. But I know what you mean, like an actual
You
classic.
know what I'm saying? But what do you call it? So my uncle Jim, he has 4 classic cars. He has a '69 SS Camaro, which he's had since maybe like 2 years after I was born. He bought that thing. Maybe before, I can't remember. So he's had it for as long as I've been around, almost 30 years. He's got now, he just bought a 66 Chevelle, I think also possibly an SS or a regular, I can't remember. He's got a Chevy Vega and a C3 Vet. That, now, mind you, he's bought all of these classic cars for, I think, under 10 grand each. Camara's worth like 50
Yeah.
plus.
Well,
Yeah, he's on $400,000 now.
Well, yeah, he's been sitting on the Camaro for sure, but now the Camaro's got a 502 in it, rather than the 396 that used to be in it. Puts like 660 down to the wheels. Monster.
Damn.
Chevelle.
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's already twisted the frame on it. Like he had to brace it already and shit
Yeah.
like that. Like the thing's
Yeah.
a monster. But the Chevelle, same thing. Like he's working on that. Vet, he bought like a parts car. It's like it was all there, but the dude had it all in boxes. So he's just been putting it together throughout the years, and now it's already together. It's ready to roll.
Yeah.
Pretty
what year?
much.
Bet.
It's a C3. So 73, I think it is.
So that was right when they started getting
Something-
choked with emissions.
Yeah, exactly. But it's got a different motor in it and shit like that.
Yeah, it
so
was-
it's not, all original, but it's there.
Well, honestly, having a different motor is a good thing because
Yeah.
what they did, they didn't just like detune it like, oh, well, put a hotter cam in it. It's
No.
They
choked it.
Yeah, they choked it. They dropped the compression ratio. So you got to open that engine up to get it back to where it was in
Exactly.
like 69.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. So,
Yeah.
It's not a simple fix.
but so he's got all these things, and like at Nissan, I was just at work. I was just working on a freaking '68 Chevelle for the general.
You haven't touched the Studebaker Avantis, have you?
I had a little bit of a hand with those because once again, it's just the things that I've worked on throughout the years and had the experience on. The dude that was the guy working on that, he was like, "What? He's like, obviously you know what you're fucking doing." So he's like, "Yeah, you can give me a hand with it. Nothing crazy. Helped him put like the motor and stuff like that in it, but like." When it came time to like the head gaskets, like when that blew out again after the motor rebuild, like we're looking all into it and everything. I'm like, this motor was not rebuilt right at all, et cetera, et cetera.
no.
Like, you know what I mean? Like all that good stuff. So yeah, I've had my hand on those too as well, you know.
Fluff
but-
has barely touched it, but he's like, I don't like Studebaker Avantis now.
No, exactly. Like it's a whole thing in our shop with those Avantes. You know what I mean? They were a problem. So the owner lost his friendship with the owner of that vehicle because of that reason. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, it's just funny that like you have that Buick now because it's just like I find myself slowly, even though I don't own one, it's like I find myself slowly starting to familiarize myself with how like the workings of the old school ways were, and like I'm starting to familiarize myself again with these old school things that I grew up with, like what I mean. It's kind of it's funny, what I'm saying. But yeah, man. Yeah, eventually I'll get one. If my uncle lets me in on these freaking deals that he keeps finding, dude, I'm gonna get in on something real quick. Because I'm telling you, dude, he just bought a 66 Chevelle.
Do you want me to
for,
start sending you shit?
dude, he bought this 66
Actually, no, I'm
Chevelle
not
for
sending you
under
anything. 'Cause you need to buy
$8,000.
my damn BMW.
Yeah. I'm gonna buy that first. Yeah. That's gonna be the start of
Yeah,
everything.
which you almost walked back there a minute ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, no, it's funny. Like one day we'll probably all be rolling around in classic vehicles.
I do think everyone needs to own a land yacht at some point. It's an experience you don't get anymore.
No,
where
no.
it's no compromise to comfort.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolute. Like my Buick's a base model. Best riding car I've ever been.
Oh, 100%, dude.
Not the most controlled.
No.
You throw it around turn.
You should Uber.
They won't let you in anything older than
fudge it.
2000,
Get 6
whatever.
weeks out of
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Just register it as something else and show up in that.
Yeah, I
You'll
don't
be
even
all right.
own a car that's eligible.
No,
for Uber.
I know. It's like mid 2000s.
No, it's 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
is
So
that
it's a
what it is?
rolling
Yeah.
deadline too.
Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, because my buddy
Yeah.
used to do it. And he had an '05 Civic, and it was like the last year when he started to do it that he could actually use that car or something like that.
Damn.
So, yeah,
So I can't even like fudge it and be like, oh, here's my eligible car and just hop in my Buick
Yeah,
instead.
exactly.
I'd love to though.
Well,
Yeah.
in my racing fashion, I would totally own a classic car, but it's gonna be a pro touring. It's gonna eventually,
yeah.
the whole suspension is gonna be redone with like a Hotchkiss or something like that. You know, put all the bars and suspension things that you need on it. And next thing
Yeah.
you know, it's gonna be like this monster of a track vehicle.
Yeah, but are you gonna do like a Camaro or a Mustang or something that actually had some like sporting heritage to it?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna get like something obnoxious and make it work?
Like a Dodge
I-
Stratus.
I would like to do something obnoxious just to make it work because, what I mean, that's just how I roll, But grabbing a Chevelle or something like that and making that do that, yeah, that'd be all. That's up my alley, or Camaro or something like that. I mean, me and my uncle are working on that now. He wants that for his 66 Chevelle. So I'm just like, yo, buy this, $2,000 Hotchkiss suspension kit and we can make that happen. And he's like, oh, that's too much money. And then I'll see him like 6 months later. He's like, so I got this deal on this freaking new Challenger that I'm working on. Dude only wants like 12 grand. And I'm like, so 2 grand was too much, but there's 12 grand for this Challenger,
I'm
brother?
The same way. I am the same way. Like, oh, I don't want to spend X amount of dollars on thing that would probably make my life easier or something.
Yeah.
Hey, look, a shitbox for $3,000.
Yeah, exactly.
What a deal.
I know. I'm the same. That's why I haven't bought the BMW off you yet, because that's where I've been at. I'm like, ooh, another shitbox for only $1,500. You know what I mean? But it's like, I gotta finish off the race cars first.
Yeah, and so how often are you hitting the racetrack?
As often as possible.
Yeah. I mean, what does that look like for your?
So
I just call this year.
I think I normally go for like 6 to 8 times out of the year. I think it is.
Okay.
So last year, unfortunately, I got hurt and I tore my ACL the beginning of the season. Yeah. So I only did March, which was the icebreaker, which I just recently did. And then after that is when I hurt I got to go down to Georgia for the Alpine Volks Fair. I did that, and then I came back and then tore my ACL. Yeah. So it took me out for the rest of the year, Yeah. But normally I try to hit up at least, let's see, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4 or 5 definitely, for sure. If we're really gunning for it, really spending money, it's going to be probably about 6 to 8 events for sure. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think like Adrian, if you pull up the Club Loose schedule, I think that there was like they have a lot of events, but I think they have like just the schedule right there to the right schedule.
Hey, is that word that says schedule?
This mouse does not like this table. We need a mouse pad.
Yeah, working on
what
it.
What about that?
That does work.
That actually does work.
Hey,
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it does work.
I'm thinking on the fly.
All right. Yeah, so they
March
have
30th, November
so
23rd.
opening moves and spring moves, like all the ones that say, "Oh, actually, that's not even true." Like, dude, there's so many. Oh
so
my god, this is why it was so expensive. So opening moves. Obviously, that's fun because it's like that's the first one.
Yeah,
and then spring moves is like the best temperature. East Coast Bash, that's the big one.
Yeah, that's
if you're
the
gonna
big
go
one.
East Coast Bash, I mean, you might get to like some FD pros.
Yeah,
that come out to East Coast
Yep,
Bash.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, and then the Pro Bro Down is that is when all the pro guys are leaving FD.
Okay.
I think generally FD lines up at the wall.
Yeah, with that, roughly that same time. Yeah, I remember that after the wall, you'd see all the guys at this Club Loose event. Yup, I remember seeing that.
And so they go do that, and like, man, that's one. Like, if you guys all wanted to just go and hang out, we should go to the Pro Bro Down.
Sure,
that's
for
so
sure.
sick.
I'm all
it's so much
for
fun
that,
to
brother.
watch, like the pros,
because they're just not. It's like they're not in their 900 horsepower, fire breathing dragons. They're in like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
dude, like, these guys
vehicles.
are just hot lapping the whole track. It's so sick.
Yep.
But then like hot moves. Oh my god, there's so many events, and I feel like.
Yeah, there's 13 events on that list.
Yeah, dude. Like, there's so many events, and like, I would say like, but out of the 13, I'm sure like it kind of lines up the same.
Yeah.
Where it's like there's 6 events to like really make.
Exactly.
Because you've got to worry about them being at a local enough track that you can.
And that's kind of like what it is. Like, if you go to like N.A.S.A schedule, they do Jersey a lot. It's most of the time is at Jersey, I'm pretty sure, for N.A.S.A Northeast. But then, like, it's also like, so like I just did the icebreaker, which was the beginning, halfway through March. So then they go back to Jersey again in the 30th, which it's 2 weeks later. But then after that, it's now they're going to their far tracks. They're going up to Lime Rock, Connecticut, Watkins Glen for the first time of the year, and then they're coming back around,
Back to Jersey,
you
then
know, back to
Pocono, then
local,
back to Lime Rock,
exactly,
Jersey, Utah.
Yeah, well, that's for the championship races. For the real racers, those are for the people that will spend like $100,000 to actually go. Yeah, dude. The
Cars are expensive. Who knew?
Well, I had an instructor that this dude was the fucking man, dude. He was Mayor Rain. He was my instructor. He was not my main instructor, but the one I worked with the most and that understood me the most. He's this older gentleman that really loved BMW and that had an E36 race car. And he actually did the N.A.S.A championship or did Daytona or something. It was at Daytona, I think, or did something like that. And he was telling me all about it. You know, he had to get a whole crew, had to, you know, pay for the crew to go down there, sleep, eat, all that stuff. He's like, I had to spend like $100,000, you know? So, but yeah, Mayor, unfortunately, he passed away at the track one day when I was at work. So
damn,
he was
RIP, dude.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he was Australian or something like that, or something along those. I forget exactly.
Like
but
normal health things, or like he crashed.
Yeah, it was a health problem.
Okay.
I think he had a heart attack or something amongst those lines. But he flew fighter jets. So that just goes to show you how fast and, you know, this guy, one of the best racers too alive, in my opinion.
That's a high-speed human being.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was one hell of a guy. He was cool as shit, but he got to teach me how to race. But he was telling me about that. The N.A.S.A championship's expensive, you know, real racing, you know.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I try to do, like, you know, you look at that schedule, how many events are on there. It's probably almost the
that
same.
you can attainably actually go to.
Exactly. And then we usually try to plan one big trip for the year, which would be
out
Watkins
to like
Glen.
Watkins Glen. Have you gone to Lime Rock?
It's on the list, but no, we haven't gone there because it's, you know, it's up north, and usually we love Watkins Glen so much.
Watkins
it's kind
Glen
of
is
hard to stray from Watkins Glen.
All right,
so.
I think Forza 7 has Lime Rock and Watkins Glen.
Yeah,
you trying to do some races later?
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. We can always do
I
that.
haven't played Forza in a while. Well, Rusty, this is the best shot you got.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, but yeah, and then you also have N.A.S.A Mid-Atlantic or whatever it is.
Okay.
Or yeah, not Mid-East, Mid-Atlantic, which they run.
A little further south.
They run VIR and whatever other racetrack is in that vicinity. I think those are like the two main ones that they run, maybe along with another one. So we're also trying to plan that out too to get the VIR as well.
I think VIR is also in Forza, so we got some practice.
Exactly. So yeah, like I said, me and my buddy, we're trying to hit all the tracks. You know, all the tracks on the East Coast. So, you know, all the way down to Road Atlanta. You know, so.
Holy shit!
And you're driving your race cars down there.
Well, Road Atlanta might be a tow situation possibly, but
so normally do you drive them there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Man. Absolutely.
So that's very interesting because that's how I started out. I drove a few events, and then one event, Adrian, if you'll pull up my Instagram.
Don't tell mom.
Yeah, hashtag don't tell my mom happened. And what's beautiful about the companionship of Club Loose is that, dude, I hit that wall in New Jersey, if you know the course in Englishtown, came off the track, looked at what I needed, and just walked like 20 steps and was like, "Hey, I crashed the wall," and they were like, "Yeah, what do you need?"
Yeah,
like they were like, just like, "What do you need?" And I was like, and I'm like, I'm holding it, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and like just like some guy just walks into his trailer, pulls out a bunch of like totes, and was just like kind of pulled out a couple and was like, "Here," and I was like, here, like you just here, like what do you mean here? And then he's like, yeah, give me $100. And I was like, I don't have $100. He's like, I'll be here all weekend.
Yeah,
I'm right here.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh,
that's
thank you. And then like literally just like scurried away, got back on track that night, raced the next day, and then drove home.
Oh yeah, dude.
And I did give that guy $100.
Oh yeah,
like, you know,
of course.
But like I just had to run to Wawa.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like,
but
it was like such a cool community. That guy like. That guy didn't care if I just ran away.
Yeah,
you know, he was like, "Whatever, dude."
Yeah, he gets it.
I have a tote of these.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
yo, it's so
awesome.
super cool. But still, like, I wouldn't count on count on that every time.
No,
but yeah. So after that, I started having a friend trailer me down, and like luckily he did it out of just good faith and friendship,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Yeah.
I just gave him some gas money,
Exactly.
diesel money for all of our diesel friends. I gave
Yeah.
him diesel money. But
yeah.
So dude, that was another hard part. Is that
Oh,
like now I wanted to be independent. I wanted to have my own truck. I wanted to have my own trailer.
Isn't that why you
Exactly.
bought your truck?
It is why I bought my truck. And I got so close to buying a trailer, and then I realized, you know what? What if I just sold it all and bought an E36?
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's what I did, and just stopped drifting. And then,
Yeah, it's
and like
okay.
once I bought that E36, I was like, wow, this is so much cheaper to just drive this cool car around and
Yeah.
just kind of do my
Do the stance
cool car
thing and stuff
things
like
with-
that.
yeah.
Yep. The car show thing and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and, like,
I
even-
do remember one time you drove by. I was in the car with my parents, but you drove by. You didn't even notice us. It
Yeah.
was right where 7 goes, or not 7. 273 goes under 1,
yeah.
and you just, of course, you're in the underpass, just drop gear. My parents are like, who was that? Why do they need to do that reckless? I'm like, that was Keith.
Oh.
They're like, what's he doing? I'm like, he's listening to his car.
Yeah.
As he
breaking
goes-
the law.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking the law.
as he goes under the overpass. I do the same thing. Like, you're doing this? I'm like,
Drop a gear,
It's fine.
disappear,
Yeah,
folks.
bingo.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's just how it goes though with racing. Like,
So you
that-
trailer a lot, or you just
No,
you drive
You
there?
drive it, and that's where like we were talking about earlier, the reliability of BMW is like I'll stand a test of that. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I mean, as opposed to right now with the whole rattling issue the M3 has, but other than that, I've for the past 3-4 years I've driven it to the track, raced it hard, driven it home, and that's that. And we called it a day. And I give it as much love and maintenance that I possibly can.
Yeah.
With, the fluids.
yeah,
and
I remember
everything
seeing like
that.
your posts on Instagram, like boxes of BMW parts.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
do not fuck around.
How
Yeah.
expensive?
I
is
don't
that?
fuck around.
Well,
Like,
dude. So speaking of that, so I bought another. Can you find my red 240?
Yeah.
The S14. So I bought a red 240. That's actually not when I owned
That
it.
was before you owned
yeah,
it.
it's got an S. Nope.
Yeah, I'm
nope,
working on it.
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's even a cooler
Yeah.
picture of me at Delaware. So first state
There's
drift.
your tow rig that never towed anything.
Yeah.
It did actually tow some stuff. My toolbox out of that shop. Actually, I rented a trailer.
There you
and I
go.
towed
That's what
my-
you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's
There
at
you
First
go.
State Drift. That's in the Dover Downs.
Okay.
In the parking lot.
Hell yeah.
My buddy Justin, along with shout out to Justin Saminsky, and some other people who were involved in First State Drift. I don't think it goes on anymore. I think the insurance was just too much.
Yeah. That's
It's
how it always
tough.
goes.
But they just did like a little parking lot event, and I remember at that event. So that's the same engine that's in the white car after I wrecked it. It was
Yeah.
just there's no coming back.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah. So I bought that and then put that engine in it, and I bought a new. Who would have guessed? I bought a new exhaust manifold, and I'm like, oh, but I know how to fix it. I'm
Yeah.
good to go. Like I'll just weld the bolts together, and I'll be good to go.
Yep.
That eBay exhaust manifold. Did I mention it was from eBay?
Yeah, I think you did.
It cracked. So I drove the whole way home from there, like from Dover,
Hell yeah.
and back, and with a cracked exhaust manifold. So I
Yeah.
just about got carbon monoxide poisoning on the way home. So
Fluff
I was
also
one of
thinks
those.
that might be why he's constantly sick.
Yeah, I
know.
keep telling him I can fix that. And he's like, oh, I don't want you to have to go through that. And I'm like, I already tried to
Put me
fix it
through
once.
Put me through it, champ.
Yeah, I was like, I don't. I'm like,
I
this
can
is the reason
handle
why we
it.
don't take the Saturn to lunch. bud."
I will tell you. I will let you know when he takes the Geo to work,
Yeah,
and I
we'll
will
just-
bring you the car.
Thank you. Yeah, just let me know. Bring it after hours, and I'll weld up the exhaust for him again. Yeah, because my dumb ass, I went to go fix that exhaust for him, and I welded it. I'm like, it's not the best. It's not the worst. I'm like, but it'll hold. And my buddy comes over. He's like, that sounded really weird. He's like, the gas wasn't on, asshole. And I'm like, oh
Oh no!
Oh, I'm
so
like-
it actually
So it
could
was
be the
splattering.
worst.
yeah,
This actually
exactly.
could be
So,
the
yeah,
worst.
I was like, okay, well, if it holds, it holds. And like I think he like went home and it broke.
Damn.
So he's like, I don't want you to have to fix it again. I'm like, Fluff, the first fix I fucked up. I'm like, let's make amends on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
If you were a paying customer, I'd be doing that for free anyway.
Exactly.
Come on.
I'm like, dude, you're my friend. I can fix
Yeah.
this. I will do this for you. You know. So, but actually, no. I mean, yeah, I don't trailer it. One, I don't have room for a trailer at my current location, and
Which is why you don't have my BMW yet.
exactly. And then two, I also don't have a tow vehicle. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
The EF can't tow?
yeah, I wish.
Just put a trans cooler on it.
yeah, exactly. It'll be all right. you
Yeah,
know?
that's all it needs.
But I was in that situation one time. Actually, the picture is on my Instagram. I had to tow the M3 home from Watkins Glen.
Ooh, that's a far hike.
Yeah, so I forget which one. It was like one of the last times I was at Watkins Glen. Actually, I posted it on there for 4-6 day too, so it's in there twice, multiple times at least. I think go to the one with the fogs, the yellow fogs. Yeah, click that one and go through the pictures. I think you'll find it on the trailer. Oh, no, not that one.
Oh,
Nice,
I like
thanks
that.
for liking it. Go up. I think it was I posted it for 4-6 day.
Oh, wait, what
Maybe
date are we
that-
on here?
Or
April.
3-6.
There you go, that day.
Yeah.
So go through it. So yeah, right before that was my instructor too, Mary Rainey. If you go back to that, right there to the left,
The fighter
Mr.
pilot?
Yeah, Mr. Mary. He was R.I.P. to
R.I.P..
the man, the myth, the legend. Right there.
Oh, you just got a U-Haul?
So right before that event, I'm looking over the car, right? And it's so funny, like months before this, when I was still at Honda, I swapped over plugs, because I never knew where the plugs were from the previous owner. And ever since I did the plugs, like, everybody's like, man, the car sounds different. I know it's weird to say this, but the car sounds like better since you've done the plugs. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that is, but I don't think plugs can do that. So whatever, you know what I mean? So maybe 3 days before this event, I'm up and I got the car up on the lift. I'm looking it over, normal pre-check, right? A day before the event,
That's the proper time.
Exactly.
To do it.
Yeah.
You don't have any
Yeah.
time for anything to break before the event.
Yeah.
So I'm looking it over, and I noticed because it has a Euro headers on it. I noticed on the header right before it bolts up to the rest of the pipe. I'm like, this is why it sounded different. I'm like, the header is starting to crack. So at this point, it's maybe only being held on by maybe an inch worth of metal on both headers. Because it's like two headers that go into one. So I'm like, okay, great. What am I going to do about this? I call my buddy Josh up, and I'm like on FaceTime with him, and I'm like, yo, dude, what do you think? He's like, you have anybody there to weld it now? I'm like, nah. And at the time, I wasn't really welding and didn't really trust myself to weld that. So I was just like, yeah, I'm like, no, not really. Everybody's home. I'm kind of here late, He's like, well, it's headed up this far. See how far it gets,
Oh,
Like,
love
I
it.
guess, yeah, I was
Love
like,
it.
Fuck it, full send, Hey, I drove it all the way up to Watkins Glen, New York. Raced it for 2 days on the last session of Sunday. So the last race of my my event on Sunday. End of the day, I'm going right before I go through the bus stop after the Yeses. I hit the curbing because I use the curbing a lot on that track. The car goes up, slams back down. As soon as it hits the ground, and I'm like, I thought it was something with the brakes. I thought the brakes broke because something didn't feel right. Yeah, like either the caliper locked up or something crazy just happened. And I'm like,
just everything's vibrating right
like,
now.
what happened?
It's all bad.
Yeah, I'm like, oh no, not the brakes, the exhaust. I'm like, the exhaust finally broke. So then I just like let off the throttle and cruised through the track. Because if I got on that throttle when the car wasn't happy too, it was ungodly loud. I just remember driving past the one flagger, and he's like, the fuck? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was it. I think, luckily, that place was like 20 minutes away from the track. We just nursed it all the way back to the Airbnb. And then the next day was a little bit of a bitch finding a U-Haul. Because I was trying to get the Chevy pickup truck before I got a box truck.
Yeah.
No one had them.
Nobody had one.
Did you try Home Depot?
Yeah, I tried Home Depot. Yeah, tried
Yeah.
everything. We tried everything. So, ended
Yeah,
up
that's
with
how
that little
my
box
buddy
truck.
was going back and forth to the track for a while. He was just getting a U-Haul. I mean, it's like it's still cash. So
Yeah.
like for me, I was like, yo, I'm just gonna drive. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm already out. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like for a 2-day event, like at
Yeah.
the time at least. I mean, maybe it's come down. I think from Club Loose, but it was like $235.
It's about
to
the
do
same
2
now.
days.
Yeah, it's about the same.
Yeah. So
And we're all like
to get
young,
up there,
broke kids.
yeah, I'm broke
Yeah.
as fuck, man. I put
Yeah.
every dime into this.
Makes like
thing.
$10
I'm
an
like,
hour.
I'm 50-50 on having gas.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
like, yo, this
For
is
real.
rough, dude.
For real, dude. And
So-
that's sorry to interrupt. But
No,
that's
go
like
ahead.
what my one buddy Joe does. He does that. He's got
Yeah.
his Chevy or GMC pickup, and then he just rents the U-Haul
Yeah.
for 200, whatever it is
Yeah.
for the weekend. You know?
Yeah,
the
my
truck's
buddy
cheap.
did the whole
Trailer's
like
expensive.
yeah, he did like the whole get up though, and like you know, honestly, it wasn't that bad. Like I forget what they charge him for the gas. Like even the gas wasn't that bad. You know, like he of course he just like was chilling.
Yeah.
65.
Yeah,
just kind of drove
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
You know, when we first got it though, we were doing donuts in it.
Yeah.
And like we always like, wait, this is one parking lot. We would all meet up. We were like,
Yeah.
dude, unhitch it. We're like, let's see what it
Exactly.
does. It's like a brand
Exactly.
new F-150. We're like, let's go, dude,
Let's do
blowing
it.
tires off.
Yeah, right.
Allegedly.
yeah, right. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And that's kind of how that situation was. It was like, well, fuck it, drive it and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And like, I brought luckily, I had an empty credit card with a very high limit, just in case.
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna bring this just in case it happened. And I
That's
mean,
like I'm not broke credit card.
exactly, you know. So it was like, just in case if anything happens, and sure shit enough, it was like, all right, just got to get a U-Haul, and it was like $300-$400. I think I spent for the whole shebang to be able to drive it from
Yeah.
New York back home and then leave it at home because
Yeah,
they're like, you're gonna
that's
bring
the
this back,
great
and I'm
thing
like,
about U-Haul.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like it's going to
Yeah.
go home to PA, and that's where it's gonna sit. you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, bud. You know, but not coming back up. Just
Yeah.
drop off a freaking U-Haul, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, yeah, that was the only situation where I actually needed to tow the vehicle. So,
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, luckily she's been very, very good to me. But like I said, I do maintain the shit
Pamper
out of
her.
the car. Yeah, it's like even when it doesn't need it, do it anyway. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
may open up a can of worms, maybe not. You know, that still wasn't.
It's the game.
It happened going to Alpine Volks Fair when I was trying to do car show things last year after the first event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I drove the car down to Georgia. Like my race car.
Oh,
I
shit.
drove my race car to and from Georgia. But funny thing, go to meet up with everybody 4:00 in the morning, whatever day it was. And get there first, so I'm waiting for everybody. My two friends were the 318s, and they show up, and we're all looking at the car. I was like, all right, let's get hyped to go. You know, we got this long drive ahead of us. Let's get it rolling. Go to start up the car, makes an ungodly sound, the starter.
In Georgia?
No, in
Oh.
PA,
Oh, thank
just
God.
before we go. And I'm like, the starter's maybe got another start in it, if that, maybe two, you know? So, sure as shit enough, you know, we start going first gas, stop, start it back up. It's really hurting, man.
Well, it's manual.
Yeah.
Got options.
So,
Yeah.
second, maybe it might even been the first one. I can't remember now, but I think it was either the first or the second gas stop that we took took a shit. And we're just into the trip. So, sure shit enough, dude, like I had the M3, either I shut it off or I think I even just let it run the next time I needed gas. And we just kept it rolling for like
I'm a
solid,
big proponent for that.
yeah,
I'm a
you know
big
what I mean.
leave it running
Yup.
kind of guy.
I definitely left it running. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but we more or less, we bump started that bitch every single time I needed
Yeah.
to shut it off because we did stop in Tennessee overnight and stuff. We just kept parking it up on hills, you know, or something.
Dude,
that was
manuals are
resident.
great for that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah,
I was
man.
in Delaware, had to get back to PA, and
Yeah.
the slave cylinder on my BMW died.
Oh,
Like in
shit.
Delaware. Like
Yeah.
I was leaving my parents' house. It's like 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
I get to the 5 minutes away, and like, why is my clutch spongy? And it just stopped working. I pulled into a Wawa gas station, popped the hood, and saw like fluid coming out of it. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck.
that's
And it's like, again, 9:30, nothing's open.
yeah. No, what are you gonna
So, all right. First gear, the clutch safety switch was already disabled.
Yeah.
Crank it and get going. Whenever I come up to no clutch, I'm floating gears.
Yeah.
Whenever I come up to a red light, pop it in neutral and then shut it off.
Yeah.
Put it into first.
Yep.
Wait. Light goes green.
Yep.
Your starter died. My starter was a fucking champ.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually
probably
moving
took
my
years
car.
off of that thing's life. But
So
that's
it's
how
good
I
to
got
know
it
when I
home.
buy it, the starter may go out on me.
Hey man, that was like 3 years ago.
Solid, dude.
Yeah.
So we're still
That's the one thing on the car that's never given me problems.
That's so great.
So when's your next race? What are you thinking?
Don't know just yet because we were gonna try to shoot for that 30th again, but it is just too soon, Because like I
Yeah.
said, the Sir Miss was a little beat up after first event.
Yeah,
So
you got some.
yeah.
You found some weak points that need to be
Yeah,
shored up. But once
exactly.
you take care of those,
It's just small little things.
and
you know what I mean?
the BMW you still have that rattle to
gotta
address.
take care of that rattle.
That's not a
so-
rattle you can ignore.
Nah, not something I'm willing to chance with because it's either $1,000 to fix it or $6,000 for another motor. So
Yeah.
I'd
How many
choose-
miles are on that motor?
Man, he said, I think at the time, because it was like, what was it? I think he got it from a junkyard. I don't remember how much it was on the motors. I think he said like 120 maybe on it, and it was like 160 on the body at the time. So it's like not too bad. But then the rod bearings were redone and everything like that. So,
Yeah.
but it's funny. He texted me not too long ago, the previous owner. He's like, "Hey, I forgot to send you the paperwork or give you the paperwork for the car. I thought you might want that." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "What's your email?" I'll
Just
send
sent that to you?
it.
How long have you had this car? Like 10 years.
4 years now.
Yeah.
So he sends it over to me, and I'm looking it over. It's from the motor swap that was done on it. And it's funny because above the item list, the shop wrote a quick sentence, and it was like, install customer supplied motor. Motor was found heavily sludged and gunked up, cleaned as best as possible. I'm like, you know what? You could have kept this information to yourself. I was perfectly fine not knowing that this motor that you fucking put in here was all gunked and sludged up, and they had to clean it as best as possible. You
I can
know?
only imagine there's all the little oil passages for like the van off.
So the item list is big on it. It's huge. It's all the gaskets, the oil pan, etc., the vanos, the rod bearings, etc., etc. So I assume. I mean, I have done an oil. I sent the oil out to Blackstone Labs. So they had the oil analysis. Definitely have been done on it before. The motor looks solid. As far as
no
they're
extra
concerned.
particulate.
Yeah,
metal
nothing
particulates or
crazy.
anything.
Also, the motor, I put like 3 years of additive in it by an accident. I didn't realize the additive was supposed to be done once a year, not every other oil change. So when I first got the car, I put heavily amounts of additive into it. And that's what Blackstone Labs said. Like, they're like, the oil looks good, but we see a lot of additive in there. So try to clear that out and send out another sample, basically is what they said. But they were like, other than that,
How much does
it
that
looks good.
cost?
It's not that much at all. I forget exactly how much it is, but I think it's under $100.
I might send that out for the Buick.
I would. Why not? They usually
You can just do it for any like old
Anything.
oil. Yeah, because I know like AMS oil does the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you
anything.
send them your
You
shit.
do it with anything. Like they give you like this whole little kit where they send you like this little plastic vial thing, and you fill that up. You know, you can put it in this little plastic baggie, all that little cool stuff. And then you just write like a quick description of what it is, make, model, what you do with it, how many miles you usually put onto it. And they have like an average list of things that they look for, like metal wise, you know, just based off of previous motors or what's supposed to be seen, et cetera, et cetera. You know, so
And
I
what's
might need
that?
to get
What's that
another-
company?
Blackstone Labs, I'm pretty sure, or
Okay.
Blackstone Labs. Yeah, I think it's Blackstone Labs. Yeah, it's an oil
Yeah.
analysis company, so it's
Okay.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, to do that. Well, you gotta
Super
get an
cool.
idea where your motor sits. You know, so
Yeah.
I'll be doing the same thing with Sir Miss since I've personally rebuilt that motor. I
Yeah.
want to see where it stands at after at least an oil change or two.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, definitely. It's something cool, you know what I mean? Especially since like rod bearings are the issue on, M3
Rod
motors
bearings
and
are
stuff.
just the scariest part of any engine.
Yes, exactly. Like luckily I know that they've been replaced, but it's like still want to get an idea where it's at because like I said, you've seen them. I've seen posts of like as early as 30,000 miles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, go from that, and they can usually tell you. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but yeah, I haven't figured out the next event just yet, but probably usually like sometime in the summer is like usually the next one once they come back from Watkins Glen and Lime Rock and stuff like that. So
What's this year's big trip?
Watkins Glen again. We were already talking about it, so it's difficult because we didn't do it last year because I was hurt. So and my buddy was just saving some money in general. So, so yeah, this year we're itching for Watkins Glen again.
Yeah.
So hopefully maybe next year, maybe Lime Rock, maybe VIR. VIR has kind of always been more on the list because it's kind of like visiting Virginia is always kind of sounds better than visiting Connecticut, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So
Have you seen the drift event that they do in Virginia?
yeah, dude,
how
that's
sick
so
is that?
awesome, man.
Just closing off the back roads.
Yeah,
Just-
the Drift
bro.
Appalachia or
I mean, it's
whatever it is.
yeah,
yeah.
Drift Appalachia,
Oh my
yeah.
god, yeah, that's
bro,
so
that's
dope.
just every drifter's dream come true.
Yeah, it's
Like,
basically
wild.
your Japanese toge run or whatever it
Yeah.
is. You know what I mean in
Yeah.
America. So-
Shout out Mike Perez. Love
Yeah.
you, bro. Flipped his Supra.
Oh yeah,
Talk.
yeah,
Wild.
dude.
Yeah, but he was
Insane.
okay. He's safe, and
Insane.
he's got it already like pretty
Cage
much
did its
put back
job.
together.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, Cage did its job.
Cage did his job. But
Oh
yeah,
man,
it's cool shit, man.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Yeah, I love it. Racing's, like I said, we've always done it on the video games and always done the spirited
Yeah.
back road drive, and it's just
Yeah.
cool to actually
In-
get out there and do
In
it.
the era of the time where like video games are peaking,
Yeah.
you have retained
Yeah.
the actual doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least I try. You know what I
no,
mean?
it's beautiful, man. and I hope that I get into it, and I'm sure Adrian will too. As like
Oh,
time
yeah.
goes on, I feel
Yeah.
like we're kind of itching for it. So I
Yeah.
think we're
I
gonna,
need to get the
I think we're
Fiero
gonna
put
do
together
it.
because that would probably be the car
Oh,
of
yeah,
the ones
dude.
that I own.
Nah,
yeah,
it's the
for sure.
Geostorm. Come on,
Geostorm.
let's
Real
go.
deal. Yeah, you and Fluff can be, the team. It'll be
Yeah.
the Geostorm team.
Yeah.
Coming
There's
at you
just
like a storm.
Tag driving out, tag drivers.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
real. I mean, one thing we can always try to plan on too, all of us put our money together and do some lemons racing.
Lemons.
Dude, lemons would be
24
sick.
hours of lemons.
I know,
dude.
like Adrian's dream is that. What's that? Goodwood.
Oh,
Oh,
Goodwood.
Dude,
yeah,
Goodwood would be
Jesus.
sick.
I
Your
actually-
car would fit right in.
Yeah, because they do the races where they'll have a Galaxy 500 going up
Yeah.
against the Mini Cooper. And it's
Yep,
fantastic.
Oh my god, those races are awesome.
those.
I wouldn't mind somehow, some way, eventually get it into what the hell is that? Pikes Peak.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love to do that
Yeah.
hill climb one day. Take
Yeah.
Sir Mist up there.
Yeah, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah.
Something like that would be kind of cool. But yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Goodwood would be, that'd be sick.
I mean, like, obviously, I don't have the money to have like a pre-war car or to like get
Nah.
my Buick over there and try
Yeah,
to, whatever.
but yeah.
Well, yeah.
But-
I mean, across seas is fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
But to go
like,
over
it's
there
a fun
just to
dream.
spectate
It's
it?
fun.
Oh, yeah, it's a dream,
Like,
dude.
You guys want to plan a trip for this like at some point?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I definitely
Goodwood
would.
race.
Go to the UK and watch
Kidding
them race
me?
some old cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like
Yeah, if I
actually
fly-
beat them.
yeah.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
I fly international, it's gonna be for something fucking cool.
Like Goodwood
And
or like
Goodwood.
The
not
Nürburgring.
lemons but Le Mans.
Yeah.
Like actually going to the
the
24 hours of
actual
Le
Le Mans. I know. I remember like when that happened. We were like with the Camaro.
Oh,
The Camaro was like the NASCAR Camaro just
Yeah.
like crushed it in the Le
Yep,
Mans.
yep.
As soon as it happened, like Adrian and I just like both had this like FOMO. We were like, "Fuck, why weren't we there?" Or at least I did. And
Oh,
then Adrian
yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I think it was more me," because Adrian was like, "Yo, it's in Europe," and I was
Yeah.
like,
I
"I guess we couldn't have just gone." Huh?
Yeah, it's not something you could just like plan out.
Like, why didn't we go? Darn.
Yeah. Well,
it was like right up the street.
Oh,
it's just like
fuck.
how I always try to like plan out an F1 event in America, but it's like, dude, good luck. You gotta spend like $5,000 just to go to.
Oh,
one, you know?
dude, we covered that the whole Vegas
Like, it's
thing
cra-
on one of
yeah,
our
the Vegas
podcasts,
one's
bro. How
crazy.
ridiculous
Yeah.
was that,
Circuit of the
bro?
Americas. Do they,
Yeah,
do they have it there?
Yeah, in Texas.
That would
or
be where I'd
whatever.
want to
yeah.
see it.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking
Yeah,
about. But
dude,
even
Road
then,
Atlanta,
it's still
which you
like
brought up, right?
Oh yeah.
like
Road
Atlanta would be
yeah,
sick.
absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's a good drive. That's that's decent.
Absolutely,
you can do that.
Absolutely. So and that's
an awesome track.
And that's what I mean. Like that's where I say, like me and my buddy are trying to hit up like all the famous racetracks. That you possibly can. Road Atlanta, VIR, we already done Watkins Glen. You know, and it's cool to like actually go to Watkins Glen because the time that we go there, it's fall. So you get to see all the colors of the trees and everything driving up there. And then, like, Watkins Glen itself is such a nice little town with so much history behind it. Like, they have their little racing car museum and everything. Like, it's funny. We went to that racing museum the first time we were there. And, you know, giving us a little tour and everything. Or, like, you know, upstairs is the archives, yada, yada, yada. We walked upstairs not knowing that we weren't allowed to be up there. So we're checking out like articles from like 1950, 1960, like things that are barely holding together. And then like maybe an hour or so later, finally somebody comes up or somebody looks up and they're like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be up there." And we're like, slowly put down
Tom
this.
or Jim said that we were allowed up here. Like, oh wait, you know Tom? Yeah, you know like Tom from downstairs. They're like, oh okay,
dude, I swear that's how it was. We were like, but we didn't know we couldn't do that. Like we were extremely careful with everything that we touched. I swear,
bad.
you know.
My bad.
He was like, it's okay, just don't let it happen again. We were like, we probably won't be here again, but sorry. But
that's awesome, dude. Well, I look forward to like, trying to come to one of your events for sure, like one of the track races that are at least close by Pocono or something.
Nah, I'm
be so sick,
all the way
man.
up to Watkins Glen.
That's dope.
I mean, Watkins Glen. I mean, that's still close enough.
I already told.
I don't know if I can say I'm going to be at Atlanta.
No.
But Watkins Glen, what's it, 4 or 5 hours?
4 hours. It's 4 hours.
So that's
fine.
It's not
that
bad.
ain't bad.
No, trust me. If I could do it in a bucket seat, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
a full racing seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Adrian and I got to get up there. We got an excuse to get to New York City.
Yeah. Well, like I said to Fluff, I was like, come on up. I'm like, the only issue is you might have to get your separate Airbnb because we have the dogs or whatever. My buddy has his dogs, but always more than welcome to come up and chill out, have vibe.
Yeah, we weren't gonna room with you. We didn't.
Like I said, anybody's always more than welcome, but unfortunately, the dog doesn't like anybody besides me. So it's like, it's gonna attack anybody that comes through. It's wild,
dude. Freaking ditto.
Yeah, exactly. So it's insane. But no, for sure, definitely come on.
So no
out.
man sandwiches.
No man sandwiches, unfortunately. No, not around the dog at least. Anything.
I bet that would trip him off.
It would take him over the moon.
Are you familiar with the man sandwich?
I don't think so.
So back at ATC.
All right. And with that, folks, that will be our podcast. Thank you for tuning in. This is Zach Buckley, the racing extraordinaire. It's been an amazing
man
time.
Sandwich enthusiast.
He's far more interesting than anyone would have ever thought. He's the man. I know you were on the fence about coming. We're so glad you did. We're gonna have you back again,
of
bro.
course,
you're the freaking man.
I appreciate you guys having me, man.
Yeah, man. Seriously, we're gonna see you race. Yeah, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're getting out of the man sandwich.
And I think that we're also gonna find ourselves on track with you one day.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna find you on track.
I hope so. I hope everybody gets to have that experience for sure.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, it would be a new track experience for me to get out there. No, man, it's gonna
definitely.
Be, it's gonna
come
be
on
awesome.
out and have a good time for sure.
You done?
Yeah, I'm good. All right, man. Well, thanks.
So back at ATC,
dude, we're done.
No,
we're so done. We're so done. We're so done.
No.
We're literally gonna be done.
Back at ATC. Oh my God, you actually ended it.